there I was in my quarterfinals match against the Heatran team, the team that stole my Heatran and then defeated me in week 3, my mortal enemy. They stalled me out with that Galarian Weezing. They had Ability Shield on their Heatran so that my Ogerpon's Mold Breaker didn't activate, so that they were immune to my Ivy Cudgel, and they destroyed me. And now, they are the thing that stands between me and achieving my Draft League dreams at long, long last. In this video, we're going to watch 8 tournament games, the entire tournament, and we'll find out how I did and who won. Let's set the scene with this battle, and then we can jump into the details of the tournament. The battle begins. They send out Vikavolt, and I'm already thinking, what the heck? I wasn't expecting that. But I remember from last game that their Vikavolt has Tera Steel. Last time I fought this person, they Tera Steeled straight away. So I thought, I shouldn't Diaclaw. If I Diaclaw and they Tera Steel, it's going to be real bad for me. They could get up Sticky Web, they could do most of my Sneasel's health. Maybe they could one-shot it with, like, Choice Specs Thunderbolt. I don't know the calc. But it didn't look good. So I thought, no, we're just going to U-turn. If they Tera Steel, fine, we get out of there, and we switch to something that can win. And if they don't, I don't do much damage, but I've got Poison Touch, so maybe I poison them. They did Tera Steel, I U-turn, and then the question is, what do they click? Sticky Webs makes a lot of sense from their end, but I have a Hatterene, so it's quite scary to click Sticky Webs against me. So I go Hatterene, hoping to catch the Sticky Webs. And do they click it? No, they Volt Switch. Nice play. Just Volt Switch. I don't know why they Tera Steel, though. I don't think they needed to. And they go into Heatran, which is quite annoying for me, because Hatterene can't damage Heatran. I have Shadow Ball on it. I'm running Assault Vest, Draining Kiss, Psychic, Nuzzle, and Shadow Ball, because they have a Hooper and Spectria in their draft, and they didn't bring either of them, so Shadow Ball doesn't do anything, but I didn't know they weren't going to bring either. They're probably going to click Magma Storm, I suspect. So I switched to Lantern, hoping to catch the Magma Storm, resist it, all well and good, and luckily for me, it misses. That's great, because, I mean, it's the problem with Magma Storm, it misses so readily. So this was great, right? Now I'm in his Lantern, so I am running Volt Switch instead of Flip Turn, which is going to be trouble for me, because they have Sandaconda. I didn't really think they'd bring Sandaconda. I thought they'd bring Spectria, and I thought even if they do bring it, I can Scold it. But it's a bit annoying here. My options are Volt Switch or Scold. I look at this and I just think Scold looks amazing. It's superior against Heatran, and I get good chip on it. Heatran kind of struggles to heal it back off, although my Grassy Terrain's really good for their Heatran, unfortunately. But looking at their team, they don't have a Scold switch in. Meowscarada and Urshifu resist it, but they both kind of just get annihilated by being burned. Like, I would love a 30% chance to burn either of those Pokemon. And Sandaconda doesn't mind the burn because of Shed Skin, but it dies to Scold. So the Scold just looks so free from this position. Really easy to click. Could have Volt Switched for momentum, but I worried that they would go to Sandaconda and just, like, get a free switch, and then they're a ground type and I'm an electric type, so it's a bit rough. And they switch into Vikavolt. It's nice to see Vikavolt take a whole lot of damage when I hit it with Scold. No burn, but I'm totally okay with that. It's all good. So that was turn 3, and I'm feeling happy. And they, I notice, have Terastallized, so they don't resist electric anymore. So I remember from my previous game, they could click Bug Buzz pretty freely against my team, and I just didn't have a good switch into Bug Buzz. And I still don't really. I can switch into Arcanine Hisui. It's 4 times resist bug. And Sneasel 4 times resist bug. But they're both pretty squishy and they don't necessarily want to be in here. So, well, they do. I mean, it would have been better to go to either of them than what I actually did. But, you know, that's okay. Anyway, I thought I'll click Volt Switch and then I'll figure out who I'm going to go into. I succeed. The Volt Switch triggers and I make a misplay. I think surely they'll either click Thunderbolt because it's neutral or Bug Buzz because it's neutral. Those are their 2, like, stab moves, right? Electric and Bug. They're not going to click Steel because I resist it. I was like, well, I'm Water Absorb, so that Thunderbolt's neutral. But they didn't know that. They didn't know I was Water Absorb. And I thought, you know what I can do? I can just get Ursaluna in. I'll just get Blood Moon in and get a kill. That's how I win these games. I get Blood Moon in and I kill something. So, I switched into Blood Moon and took a massive energy ball to the face. I was like, oh my god, I've taken so much damage on my Ursaluna. Yeah, I guess I just kind of didn't respect Energy Ball as coverage, and it got me. So this turn I thought for a bit, because I was like, well, Vacuum Wave kills. I have Vacuum Wave, but they can just switch into something. But then who do they switch into, right? Because Meowscarada is weak to fighting, and Heatran is weak to fighting. So they're both actually going to take a sizable amount from the Vacuum Wave. Weezing will take nothing from the Vacuum Wave, but it'll die to a Blood Moon afterwards, so it's kind of bad. And I thought, oh, it's hard for them to switch here, because if I click Blood Moon, none of their guys want to take it. They can go Heatran, but it's really risky, and I don't know who's faster out of myself and the Heatran. I decided, no, we click the obvious move. We force my opponent to prove that they can do something about it. So I clicked Vacuum Wave and got the kill. That's great, right? Amazing. And now in comes Urshifu. And I thought, okay, well, they can revenge kill me. I thought, do I really want to let Ursaluna go down? Like, Ursaluna is so important. It's my thing for beating Weezing and Heatran. And I remembered to last game, I thought, why did I lose last game? Because I let Ursaluna die, so I didn't have anything to kill Weezing. So I think I can't stay in here. I have to switch, because I don't want to just repeat my week 3 loss against this person. I want to learn from my mistakes and keep Ursaluna, but then I have to choose who the heck is going to take a close combat or a Surging Strikes. I didn't know which one they'd click. I thought Surging Strikes was slightly more likely, because it doesn't debuff them, and both are super effective against Ursaluna. So I thought, okay, I'll go to Lantern, and either they click Close Combat and I sack my Lantern, okay, it's better than sacking Ursaluna, or they click Surging Strikes and I heal from it because of Water Absorb. So I go to Lantern and they Sword Stance. And suddenly I was like, do I lose? I mean, this is always what goes through your mind when a sweeper sets up. You think, have I lost? I didn't think I'd lost, but I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to not lose. I saw that I had a Choice Band Rillaboom in the back with Grassy Glide, but I don't think that quite killed, or there was a roll or something. So I was a bit unshaky. I felt okay. I mean, I have Scarf Sneasler, who'll be faster, and can take a +2 Aqua Jet. I've got Rillaboom with Grassy Glide. I've got Extreme Speed Arcanine. I've got lots of priority. The other thing I have is a Lantern with Tera Flying. And I looked at the calc, and I saw that if I Tera Flying, I survive a close combat, and I OHKO with Discharge. I EV'd this Lantern pretty weirdly. It's got a lot of special attack investment. You can see I EV'd the Lantern pretty weirdly. I've given it max special attack and max defense and a modest nature. So with max special attack, it OHKOs the Urshifu, and with max defense, it survives close combat. So I've EV'd for this exact scenario, and it's paid off, right? I'm fine. I survive close combat. The only thing is that if they call me and click a coverage move, I think there are some that can kill me. If they click a rock type move, maybe if they click Ice Punch, I'm dead. But I thought, nah, there's no way that you click close combat. So I Tera Flying, and they click Trailblaze, which is the best case scenario for me. I go from a weakness to a resistance. Who cares about the chip damage? So I hard switch into Arcanine, thinking they'd triple axle or knock off, and I felt like Arcanine was a good enough switch. I'm going to force them out, and I'm going to click Stealth Rock. Now, this is where I was really glad I had Rocks, because this just crushes their ability to put on pressure. They are boots, Meowscarada. They kind of pivot around. It's all good. But from here on in, I just start making this steady progress. And I'm just trying not to make a mistake. I'm trying to keep my guys alive, but if their deaths are going to make progress, I'll make it. So the Stealth Rocks felt really big. Here I make a bit of a mistake, and I Head Smash into the center contact, and then I Will-O-Wisp it, forgetting about the fact that they often run rest, and they have Shed Skin anyway. And I sack Arcanine, but I felt like Arcanine wasn't doing much in this game. It was never going to hit Meowscarada, because Meowscarada was too fast. And that was the only thing it really beat. So I get my Rillaboom in. They have to send in the Heatran, but it's paralyzed and it's taking rocks damage. And I U-turn, keep momentum up. I'm pretty sure it's Flash Fire, so I'm not too worried about burns. I get my Blood Moon in, and now something is going to die. Hopefully the Heatran. I'm going to click Earth Power, and if they went to Weezing, I could have just Blood Moon next turn. So Heatran's dead. Now my opponent is looking really, really bad. They can bring in their Meowscarada, I suppose. That works. I go to my Sneasler. It hasn't done very much this game. They missed a triple axle. It sucks for them, but they were a bit screwed. Anyway, and yeah, they've got wheezing, but I don't mind. The wheezing is pretty passive, and I've preserved my Ursaluna, so I can beat the wheezing, unlike the first game when I fought this opponent. Got a Hatterene just to sack it, because I didn't think it was helpful against their team anymore. It had kind of done its job, and this lets me bring in Ursaluna again. And now I've got the Blood Moon. There's nothing they can do about the Blood Moon. They can hit me for pitiful damage. They get the poison, which is annoying, but wheezing goes down, and the game is mine. I've won. I have to do a bit of cleaning up, and yeah, I just have to be careful not to throw, not to let Sneasler randomly die to an earthquake, but I do it. I do okay, and just like that, I make it into the top 4 in my league. But my competition is fierce. It won't be an easy road to first place. Stick with me as we watch some Pokemon. And thank you all so much for accompanying me on this months and months long journey in this draft league. It was really amazing. It was such a good thing to be a part of, and I appreciate all of the views. I don't know who the heck you hundreds of people are. I remember saying in my first video, like, if we can get 3 subscribers, I'm going to be so happy. Like, that was my goal, 3 subscribers. Now I'm at like 90 people. You know, that's like, you can walk down the street and not see 90 people. You guys are champions. I don't know. I appreciate it. You guys are great. This video is so out of chronological order. I've just got a new webcam. I spent some of last year doing science tutoring, so I have a bachelor's degree in biological science. I'm midway through my master's degree. Can teach biology and chemistry. So if you are into biochem tutoring, call me. I can teach A-level science for pay, but I can make these videos for free, and I will. Yeah, but anyway, I got some money from that, and I've used it to gradually upgrade my room, because I figure, you know, this is kind of fun. We'll give it a shot. I got a new webcam. I don't know how much of a difference it will make. The main thing that was annoying me was the flicker. So my old webcam was like staticky, and it was just bothering me to no end. I thought I'll upgrade to a good one. We don't have the fishbowl effect on the room anymore. So the old webcam had this like crazy fishbowling where everything was like distorting out to the sides. This one is HD. It's got everything, which is good and bad. Right now you can see my mug in greater detail. You can see the jeans, the pair of jeans that I've just got on my shelf, my new shelf. That's where those jeans live for now. So I'm not very tidy as a person, and that doesn't necessarily go well on video. However, sue me. If it's a deal breaker for you, that's okay. But we're just going to keep at it. This is me. I mean, it's me in HD glory. Although not really, because I'm tiny. I can make myself big, like this. Wow, I'm huge. I'm huge now. Yeah, now we can really see. Look, we can see the Bulbasaur on my shelf. We can see the Lego Venusaur. Well, it's fake Lego. We can see the platypus hand puppet. We can see that the eye I made in year 8. In New Zealand, our schools, we have 13 years of school, and that was one of my year 8 woodworking projects. We've got my board games. We've got some antibacterial stuff. We've got my carrot fan. We've got my unmade bed. It's all here. We've got my diploma, my bachelor's degree. It's all here. It's all good. It's all HD. Isn't that great? Anyway, should we find out how the tournament went, shall we? Let's find out how the tournament went. This video is going to be so rambly, my lord, because I haven't done a rambly video for a while, so I'm just going to indulge. Look, Pod, why don't you come up here? Why don't you come help me talk about Pokemon? Yeah? You know, be nice. Nice flat surface. I'll give you lots of pets. I will. Give you lots and lots of pets if you come up here. It'd be really good. It'd be so good if you came over here. You get so many pets. You wouldn't go out and start any fights. Man, Pod had to go to the vet. Something just happened since I last made one of these videos that I haven't talked about. I got lots of anecdotes. But, Pod, you really want to go out. Okay. Pod has left us. So, the tournament. So we've seen my game. We have some more games to watch to see who will be the other 3 contenders. But let's do a brief recap, now that we've done the cold open, of how the qualification process went. So we started with 16 teams, these 16 here, and they battled each other. They paired off every week for 8 weeks, and every time you won, you got a point. Every time you lost, you didn't get a point. And the top half of players qualified for this tournament. So you only had to be like top 8 of 16, which isn't too hard. But the competition was fierce. Everyone was a good player. Everyone knew what they were doing. So it wasn't easy even then. So I came 6th out of 8. So I was not like very highly ranked, but it was close. So let's watch how it played out. Sorry, there's a strange yellow line there, but I've killed it. Here we go. So the weeks progressed, and you can see that familiar faces started winning, particularly the Pyros. But Lucario is doing well, Hexorus is doing well. Poor Quaxley, down at the back. Not Quaxley's tournament, but that's okay. And then we are left with these as our top 8. I'll fight you in the finals next time, Quaxley. Here's what the bracket looks like. We have the Pyros, of course, first place. Hexorus is in second. Lucario is in third. Bramblegast in fourth. These are the top 4 seeds. And then we work backwards. Ursalunas are going up against the Bramblegusts in round 1. Rattatas, me, go up against Lucarios. You've seen the results of that one. Hexorus against Heatmore, and Pyro against Bulbasaur. We're going to watch the 3 other battles to find out how they went, and then reconvene to assess what the semi-finals are going to look like. But first, let's update it with my victory. There we go. The Rattatas move up. Here we are. This is the Pyros versus the Bulbasaurs. This is the rank 1 seed, in fact, undefeated in the tournament. Pyros. Never lost a battle. Undefeated. Versus the rank 8 player who went 3-5, 3 wins, 5 losses in the qualifiers, but snuck through into the playoffs by the skin of their teeth through kill differentials. There were 4 players who all had a score of 3-5, and the Bulbasaurs had the largest difference between the amount of kills they got and deaths. So, they're here, but this is the most biased matchup, right? This is the one that no one's really expecting anything except the Pyros winning, because the Pyros have never lost a battle. Now, I haven't watched this, but I do know how it ended. Let's find out what happens. I'll put this on slow speed, and we'll just let it run. So Bulbasaurs have a Sun team, which is pretty cool. They've got Fortress, which is interesting, but they lead Hariyama against the Pyros. The Pyros is running this very steady, consistent, like good Pokemon team, and we've got a hard switch to Keldeo from the Pyros as Hariyama belly drums. Already, this is interesting. So Keldeo can not quite kill it. Hariyama's going to Drain Punch here and heal back up. It's going to Earthquake and kill the Keldeo. Okay. Does Hariyama... It gets Bullet Punch, right? But surely the opponent can now just go into something faster like Metagross and then Bullet Punch it themselves, and then the Hariyama goes down. Not the greatest start for the Pyros, but it's fine. They've taken out the Hariyama. Now the Torkoal can come in for free. That Hariyama did pretty well. I've never seen Hariyama do so well. Get a whole kill and actually get a belly drum off without dying. Gouging Fire comes in. It counters the Metagross nicely. The Metagross has to switch. I keep calling the Pyros my opponent. I'm not the Bulbasaur. I don't know what I'm doing. This is my live thoughts. It's quite hard. I'm realizing it's quite hard to commentate live. The Gouging Fire is going for the setup. Okay, can my opponent deal with a setup Gouging Fire? Like, kind of. But it looks pretty scary, because now it outspeeds the Dragapult. It's going to kill the Metagross. It's going to kill the Diancie now. And it's weakness policy Gouging Fire. This looks really, really bad for the Pyros all of a sudden. But surely the Pyros have something in their pocket that can save them from this crazy behemoth of a Pokemon called Gouging Fire. But like, what can it be? Because Dragapult's going to get outspeed and one shot, but it doesn't. Because of course it doesn't. Because Dragapult's so fast, and Gouging Fire, even with a speed boost, is not fast enough. So, whew, that was looking sketchy for the Pyros, but now they're okay. The Dragapult can just Dragon Pulse this Garchomp and be okay, but it switches to Colossal. Still, no one's got up any hazards. Garchomp might try to get up some hazards now, but no, he just goes for the Quake. Good switch. I mean, the opponent could have got Thunderous in, but Thunderous currently hurt Garchomp, so the Colossal kind of makes sense. Here's Thunderous. Does the Bulbasaur notice this and click a Dragon move? No. Okay. But what can Thunderous do to Garchomp? Does it have... It can't use an electric move. So it has to use... Okay, Knock, but Knock's pretty weak in this Rough Skin. Garchomp now can click Dragon Tail or click Hazards, and that'll be pretty annoying for the Pyros. I don't know what Thunderous is going to do. I think the Pyros maybe should have just stayed in as Dragapult and clicked Dragon Pulse to try to get... If maybe they calced and it wasn't a kill with Dragon Pulse, but I think they still wanted the damage. Garchomp's just going to set Hazards up, and this is just killed the Colossal. So the Pyros have no Rapid Spin. The Sun team of the Bulbasaurs haven't even brought out Torkoal until now. Now it's looking pretty crushing. I mean, the Pyros are on such a timer with those hazards. Dragapult's taking 35%. 35%? 24% every time it comes in. Dragon Pulse is not going to kill in one hit, and Torkoal can click... I don't know what it's going to click. Fire move? Weak Fire move? It's a Eject button, so it's going to switch into Electrode. Electrode is faster than Dragapult, but Dragapult resists Grass and Electric. So it's not that strong, but... What else is it going to do? Is it not faster than Dragapult? What the heck? No, it is. Is this Scarf Dragapult? That's wacky if it's Scarf Dragapult. I guess so. Okay, but Venusaur will be faster than Dragapult. Oh, will it? If it's Scarf? We'll find out. We'll find out who's faster. Venusaur will hit 630. It will be. Because Venusaur is going to hit 560. Dragapult's going to hit 600. Dragapult's faster, but it's pretty weak. Those Dragon Pulses are not that strong, and it's doomed now. Like it's if it ever gets forced out, then it's never coming back in. Dragon Pulses are just weak, not actually doing enough to hurt Venusaur. Being faster is not enough, and suddenly you're thinking, has Bulbasaur and his dad Venusaur just defeated the #1 seed? The undefeated champion of the bracket? I mean, I made a clickbait video called I Battled Like a #1 Player about my loss to the Pyros, and now here we are watching the King of Bees, this Bulbasaur, win? Surely not. Surely Thunderous is going to click Bulk Up and like reverse sweep. But Torkoal hangs on, and it's gotten Sun back up. Torkoal's got Sun back up, which is the main thing. Venusaur is now the fastest thing on the field. However, if Metagross has a priority move, then it's certainly not over. Very close game, as we can see. So, what happens now? Venusaur comes in, but Venusaur, if it's got Weather Ball, it can one-shot... It should click Weather Ball here if it has it, because it will kill Thunderous, and it would kill Metagross on the switch. Okay, now the question is, does Metagross have Bullet Punch? Oh no, it's got Life Orb, okay. But it looks like Garchomp wins, because it's got Rocky Helmet, so it'll chip the Metagross. Metagross is going to take hazards when it comes in, and Garchomp has Earthquake. Metagross has Boots, we find out. No, it's not Boots. It's just strange watching Smoke on slow mode. But there you have it, folks. The King of Bees, the Bulbasaur, has just defeated the Pyros. The Pyros are out. They spent all of 2 months playing perfect Pokemon, playing immaculate games, only to lose in a best-of-1 to the biggest underdog of the bracket. This is a battle between the number 2 seed, the Haxorus. Haxorai? Is Haxorai the plural of Haxorus? Probably. The Haxorai versus the Heatmore, who are the number 7 seed. It's an interesting game. We have this sand team here with Tyranitar plus Sandrush Houndstone versus this very steady balanced team with the Urshifu Dark type and Lando and Tornadus Therian. It's scary looking teams on both sides. We'll just watch it and we'll find out who makes it. The Haxoruses are the favourite to win, but as we've seen, being the favourite does not give you magical protection. The poor Pyros are testament to that. Who do we think they're going to lead? Well, Tyranitar is kind of the obvious lead for a sand team, but I feel like lead Tyranitar is pretty bad. Like, it loses to Landorus, it loses to Urshifu. If I am the Heatmores, I'm thinking Toxtricity. I'm kind of just looking for something that doesn't lose to Landorus. Maybe I'm leading Primarina. And Primarina has pretty good matchups into all my opponent's Pokemon. Whereas if I'm the Haxoruses, I'm quite liking the Landorus. It's only really bad into Primarina. Tornadus loses to Tyranitar, which I don't like. Urshifu's not bad. I think Urshifu's pretty good. Yeah, if I'm my opponent, I think I'm leading Landorus or Urshifu. Or Terapagos. To be honest, I don't really know much about Terapagos. Or maybe Screamtail. There's a lot of options. Let's see how it played out. So the battle begins, and it's Toxtricity against Terapagos. Terapagos with the name of Master Oogway, which is very respectable. Terapagos I hardly understand. I understand that it's a turtle, and it has Terra Shell, which is a funny version of multi-scale. But beyond that, I don't know. He just kind of sits there. And he can't terrestrialize in this format, so he's stuck in small turtle form. Apparently it gets Meteor Beam, which it's going to use to bonk Tyranitar. I assume Tyranitar forces it out, but who knows? Maybe it gets Aurasphere. It probably does get Aurasphere. In which case, Tyranitar doesn't force it out. Is he going to click Aurasphere? He does. Okay, and now Houndstone's in. What the heck does Houndstone do? It's a Sand Rusher. Draft League is wacky. Oh, mother, I can feel the sand falling over my head. And as I climb into a fighting-type Terrestrialize, oh well, enough said. I know it's over, still I cling. I don't know where else I can go over. Oh, mother, I can feel the Terra Starstorm destroying my head. See, the sea wants to take me. The Terapagos wants to slip me. Do you think you can help me? I know it's over. Fainted. And now we're back to one Pokemon each. Here comes Primarina. Primarina looks really good in this matchup. And here's Screamtail. Now, Screamtail has a bunch of supportive options, but it's pretty passive. Yeah, screens. That's not surprising. What's Primarina going to do? It could start Calm Minding, which would be quite scary for my opponent. Or it could flip him into a physical attacker. Probably Toxtricity or Blaziken's probably coming in. Nope. I'm wrong. It's T-Tar. Is T-Tar going to be able to get through this, though? I feel like it's not going to have coverage to hit it super effectively. But the Sandship is good. And here's the Reflect. So the Haxoruses are looking well protected. What does T-Tar do? It rocks. Okay. Oh, right, because Terapagos gets Rapid Spin. So with their spinner down, the rocks look great. Rocks look really good. I presume they're boots on Tornadus. And what? Misty Explosion. Okay. Okay. I didn't see that coming. That surprised me. So Tyranitar is just faced a Misty Explosion, which is going to crush all of its neurons at once. And in will come Nuvolette, fresh Archon from Fontaine, to Terra Water, because he loves the taste of water, and Annihilate. No, he's going to click Curse, like that time in the Fontaine story quest where he did something, but I never started the Fontaine story quest because it seemed really long, so I don't know what he did. But I presume it was sort of hydro-based. Maybe he clicked Curse and boosted up in front of a Tyranitar named after what I presume is a hit pop track from the 80s, although I don't know what Speak to Me is. But I know what I know it's over is. Here's Zone War coming in. good general purpose thing against the Tyranitar. Tyranitar was hoping to knock off the Tornadus's boots, but it knocks off the choice band from the Landorus, which is also good. Here's Altaria, which I don't know what it does, but I know that it is immune to ground. Landorus pivots out. Rocky Helmet, so it's taking a lot of chip, and it doesn't have boots, so it's going to take more every time it comes in. And Hexorus has really not been able to make the most of the screens, and Tornadus isn't boots, so it's going to take a lot of chip. Now, it's got Regenerator, so it's going to regenerate it off, but the Brox almost negate Regenerator completely, which is tragic for Tornadus. It's clicking Bleakwood Storm, doing nothing to T-Tar, and yeah, the Hexoruses look in trouble, but they've still got Urshifu in the back, and Urshifu, well, it loses so badly to Primarina though, doesn't it? I guess it can run a poison type move. I don't think Nouvelette's going to be enough. I think Nouvelette might lose to the Pyro Archon. What's her name? Mahuika. Mahuika is actually, well, she's a Polynesian goddess, so she's in a bunch of different mythology. Oh, hi, Pod. I was talking about Mahuika. Do you want to come in? Yeah. Hi. You coming in? The battle's going on. We're gonna miss it. It's Killer Queen. Pod. Are you a fan of Queen? The hit classic band. They did Bohemian Rhapsody. They did Killer Queen, and they battled Nouvelette. Here's Pod. Do you know Mahuika, the Polynesian fire goddess? I did a whole classics report on Mahuika. She's pretty cool. Maui famously tricked her into giving up her fingernails, which provide fire. And it's interesting because there's an awful lot of myths around the world of people stealing fire from the gods. So, who was it? Prometheus? In the Greek pantheon? Prometheus stole fire, and his punishment was... Oh, Pod, you're going again. His punishment was he was going to have his liver perpetually eaten by vultures or something. I don't know, it's horrific. But he gave us fire, and Maui stole Mahuika's fingernails. Yeah. Anyway, what's happening in the game? It's kind of just going. Everyone's taking chip damage. Everyone's getting worn down. And here comes Blaziken. Okay, Iballoon, interesting. Can it take a earthquake? No. Good read by Hexorus. Pops the balloon, and now Blaziken's looking in trouble. But maybe it can sweep. Maybe it's enough. It'll get the speed boost, and it can try something. Is it not speed boost? Is it Blaze? Blaziken? Putting the Blaze in Blaziken. Okay, it tries to protect, but it fails. No, it is speed boost. It just didn't proc. Why didn't it proc? What? I'm confused. Well, I don't understand. And it's getting late. But I think this game is over. I think the Heatmores are going to win it. Urshifu can come in and Aqua Jet now? No, Sucker Punch, because it's Dark type Urshifu. But Lapras isn't going to take it. Oh, it is going to take it. I was so unfair to Lapras because it's Terrestrialized, so it's not an Ice type, so it's not weak to close combat. Oh, but the full para. That's rough. That's real rough. Yeah. I don't think it was going to be enough anyway for the Hexoruses. I think the Heatmores had basically got it, but yeah, I think the Heatmores definitely won it. Which means, of the 3 battles we've watched so far, the lowest seed has won every single one. Seed 1, 2, and 3 are all eliminated. The Pyros eliminated by the 8th place seed, the Bulbasaurs. The Lucario eliminated by me, the Rattatas. I was the 6th place seed. And now the Haxorus is eliminated by the Heatmores. 2nd eliminated by 7th. The only battle left is 4th versus 5th, which is, in theory, the closest one. But I would be a bit scared if I was the 4th place player, because it seems like the theme of these battles is, if you played well in the week, then you're going to go on tilt now, and you're gonna lose, and all of that hard work is going to be for nothing, which is pretty sad. But maybe I'm speaking too soon. Maybe a 24% Lander Asterion can defeat these 3 guys, but I don't think it can. Cheetah comes in, maybe a sack. I don't think that it's going to do anything, but I also don't think it really matters. And now Toxtricity surely comes in and just clicks. It must have Boom Burst, right? And it must... Does it not? Is this BM, or am I missing something? I'm confused. Wait, have I misread this whole scenario? Oh, wait. 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 I was totally misreading it. The Hexorus were going to win with the Landers because it was fast enough. But they thought that the Heatmores still had Terra, so they clicked Lantern expecting the Altaria to turn Steel, but the Altarias didn't have Terra, so they couldn't. So they didn't. So the Earthquake did nothing, and the Altaria managed to roost up. And now the Altaria wins, and I was... I knew that the Haxorus was going to win, so I figured that was how it was going to go, but no. The Haxorus was like a hair's breadth away from winning. I just thought Landorus was slower than Toxtricity. I was like, well, why are they sacking T-Tar and Altaria? Like, just kill it with Toxtricity. But no. Toxtricity's slower and just died. So this Landorus actually could 1v3. Except the Haxorus is over-predicted. And so they're out. That's wacky. I didn't know that's how this went. My live reactions. I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure I'm like that cut out to be a battle commentator. Like, I thrive as like a research person. I'm not even that good at Pokemon battles. I just like the research phase, the prep phase. As a live commentator, I'm like just saying words, and half of them don't make sense. Such is life. I mean, I'm given my honest thoughts. Yeah, rest in peace, Haxoruses. That's a very unfortunate way to go. I didn't know it went down like this for you, and I'm sorry about it. But good job to the Heatmores for playing to your outs. I mean, you're in the top 4. Congrats. And we have one more battle to watch, but I am falling asleep. So we'll watch that when I have a different shirt on, and the room is in a slightly different state of cleanliness. See you then. This battle between 5th seed Ursaluna and 4th seed Brambleghast was not recorded, so we don't have a replay to watch. All I can give you is an artist's recreation based on the few chat logs that I have. I know who won, I know who got kills. Apart from that, I don't have a clue, man. I don't have a clue. These might not even be the teams that they used. I'm doing my best here. So, here's what happened. Turn 1, here are the leads, allegedly. These might not have been the leads, but I think these were the leads. But who knows? The Ursalunas thought, yes, I will lead Gligar. And the Brambleghasts thought, joke's on them, I'm going to lead my setup Dragon Dance Roaring Moon. And so, Roaring Moon here comes in, and they're like, Gligar's probably going to U-turn, and it's going to chip me. But once I have a DD, it's really hard for the enemy to stop me, right? I can Acrobatics to hit Azumarill hard. I can kill this. I can kill this. I can kill this with knockoff and kill this with knockoff. So I'm just going to go for it. I click DD turn 1. But Gligar, terrestrializes Fairy and clicks Fairy type Terra Blast, OHKOing Roaring Moon. Now, to be clear, maybe this didn't happen. I'm making this up. All I know is that in this game, Gligar Terra'd Fairy, caught the opponent off guard, and got a kill. So, this was the most plausible scenario I could think of in which Gligar did all of those things. The Roaring Moon dies, right? We can delete Roaring Moon. And now the opponent is like, what am I going to do, right? This team is terrible against fairy types. they think I'm going to send in Ninetales and get my son up, and then I'll switch out. We're going to say they switch into Fortress, and I don't know what they're going to try to do, but this isn't real, so it doesn't matter. And then the Ursalunas think, okay, now's my time. They U-turn, bonk, Gligar comes over here, and Latias comes in, and they click Calm Mind, and Fortress doesn't have a bug-type move. It explodes. It blows itself up. Boom. Latias is now +1/+1, and the opponent has 4 Pokemon left. In comes Ninetales Kanto. Opponent's going to try to do something with Walking Wake. Latias is chipped from the Fortress explosion, but it's alive, and it's going to click Calm Mind again. There's not much Ninetales can do. Ninetales clicks Baton Pass, and Baton passes into Walking Wake, which gets the Sun Boost. However, this Latias is now +2 Spadef, and Walking Wake isn't going to kill it anymore. Probably. I mean, I haven't looked at the calcs, and this isn't actually how the battle went, but don't worry about that. So Latias then clicks Draco Meteor. This Draco Meteor misses Latias, and this Latias annihilates the Walking Wake, and now the Brambleghast are just doomed. They send in the Great Tusk, but it gets Psychic moved into Oblivion. They send in the Ninetales, and it gets Oblivion somehow. And they send in Carkol, and Carkol explodes, killing itself and Latias, granting the Ursalunas a 5-0 win against the Brambleghast. So, there we go. Those were the other 3 battles. And now we get to watch a ridiculous event. Look at this. The lowest seed in every matchup has moved on to the semifinals. Our top 4 players in the Alola division have all been eliminated, and it's now a battle of us trash people who have scoundreled and scrambled to victory. So yeah, one of these 4 Pokemon, Bulbasaur, Heatmor, Rattata, and Ursaluna, will be taking the trophy. And the poor Pyros, after a perfect season of qualifiers, are eliminated in the first round. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. The only question left to ask is, who will I be fighting in the semifinals? Well, it won't be the Ursalunas, for the hilarious reason that the Ursalunas are now the number 1 seed in the bracket. 5, the highest seed. So they will be fighting the lowest seed in the bracket, the Bulbasaurs. And I will be fighting the Heatmors. Like this. So that's my matchup. I'm fighting the Heatmors. They're not one of the opponents I fought in the weekly battles. I didn't see them. I've never fought their team before. I hardly know anything about it. So it'll be very, very interesting. If I win, I will face the winner of the Bulbasaur versus Ursaluna matchup. And if I lose, I'll face the loser of the matchup to see who takes the bronze medal. But hopefully I'll win, right? I've just come home from my first day back as a practicing wasp scientist. My traps are in. They've come in. We put them out in December, and now they're in, and I have 80 Ziploc bags full of glycol, antifreeze, and bug. And my job is to sort them all out, find out which ones are wasps, which ones are not wasps, and what kind of wasps the wasps are. And it's great. I mean, I'm so happy to be back. But I'm pretty tired now. I've come home from a long day. And I thought, let's go over the teams. The top 4 teams of the playoff tournament for my draft league. One of these 4 teams is going to take the crown, take the trophy. It's going to become the number 1 team of the league. The first one, of course, is mine. I made it to top 4. I qualified for the secondary super tournament with other leagues, which I'm a bit scared for. And I'm in contention for the crown. I'm pretty pleased with this result. If I lose now, if I come 4th, I'm still happy. It's my first ever draft league. Top 4 is better than I ever thought I would do. So yeah, we'll start with my team because I'm quite excited to talk about it. And we'll go from worst to best. So my worst guy up to my best guy in terms of how many times I brought them and how many kills they got and such. Worst is Orthworm. Now, it's not Orthworm's fault. I actually like Orthworm. But 2 of my Pokemon, Orthworm and Arcanine Hisui, I switched in late into the game. I kicked Ogerpon off, I kicked Gogoat off, I kicked Volbeat off, I got Orthworm and Arcanine. So they didn't have much time to shine. I only brought them once each, and they didn't do that much in the battle. I lost the battle quite handily. But, as you've seen, and as you will continue to see, they were both very useful in the playoff tournament. So, Orthworm, he's in last place. He came once, he didn't get any kills, he died. He clicked Stealth Rock and died, which is fine. You know, he's an Orthworm. What more can you ask? Second place, Arcanine Hisui, same deal. I don't regret drafting these two though. They work well. They just didn't end up helping in the few weeks that I had them. Okay, moving on to the mainstays. Oh, an honorable mention to Ogerpon. Ogerpon was phenomenal every week I bought it, and I kicked it off anyway, mostly because I felt like I'd betrayed Ogerpon, and it wouldn't be right for me to keep Ogerpon on the team after I let Ogerpon down so much. I made a little series of vignette stories. It's a bit cringe though. Came out a bit cringe is the problem, and there's nothing more dangerous to a YouTube career than cringe, so I'm going to stay away from the vignettes because cringe is it's bad. You don't want that. It's too heartfelt while not being quality enough to justify the heartfeltness. Bad combo. Wouldn't recommend. Anyway, in third to last, we have Comfey. I brought it 4 times. It got 1 kill. It died once. Every game it basically sat there, never doing anything. I didn't really want to switch it in because it was too frail. It kind of pressured the opponent because it could revenge kill with its priority moves. But in practice, I just kind of felt like it never really did anything. But my opponent just had ways to deal with it, so I couldn't sweep with it because I just have a switch in, and then either I lost or I won. I don't know. I mean, you can see that I won 3 of the games that I brought it, so it wasn't bad for me. It was just a total non-factor a lot of the time. But it stood there and looked pretty, and it's made of flowers, so it does look very pretty. Next up, fourth to last, we have Rillaboom. But we wouldn't expect Rillaboom to be that amazing because it's a support Pokemon, right? Part of its utility is in its ability to set grassy terrain for the rest of my team. And yet it's got more kills than deaths. It actually did really well. An average of 4 kills over 4 games is great. 3 deaths is good. I'm happy with Rillaboom. Definitely not something you want to bring every game. Some games, Grassy Seed Sneasler is just unhelpful. Some games, Grassy Terrain is kind of more helpful to the opponent than yourself. But some games, Unburdened Sneasler is just a terror, and having Rillaboom to enable it is great. So I liked Rillaboom. I mean, I liked all my guys, but Rillaboom was good. Next up, Hatterene. So I brought this 5 times, and 3 kills, 5 deaths. Not great. Hatterene and Comfey were both kind of weird. Hatterene, I quite like to sack. Switch it into hazards, bounce them back, and then let it die. I wouldn't say I was disappointed with Hatterene. I think for 12 points it's worth it, but I was expecting it to perform better than it did. Then we have Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz formed this really nice defensive core with Lantern. They kind of switched into each other really nicely. So Mandibuzz takes 4th best Pokemon on my team. It was bulky, it was annoying for my opponent. It was a massive hassle every week thinking, do I bring Foul Play or do I bring U-Turn? That turned out to be a really difficult decision. I feel like Mandibuzz needs a slightly bulkier team to make itself worth it. I found that I was switching into Mandibuzz. They would send in an offensive threat because Mandibuzz is kind of passive. And then I didn't have a switch to the new offensive threat. So Mandibuzz kind of just delayed my suffering, and Lantern is not bulky enough to really cover for it. I think Mandibuzz would really shine on an even more bulky defensive team. On my team, it kind of felt a bit too passive, it let my opponent take advantage of me. I could run U-Turn, but the move slots for Mandibuzz were just a nightmare. Anyway, Mandibuzz was good. I have no qualms with Mandibuzz, but I do think my team is maybe not the ideal team for it. Next, 3rd place, bronze medal, Lantern. Lantern was amazing. I was so happy I drafted it. I brought it 6 times, and it was only worth 6 points. Like, look at that. It's a steal. It's a bargain at 6 points. I liked it more than Hatterene. I liked it more than Mandibuzz. And Mandibuzz and Lantern came to both games together. Lantern just felt so good. Volt Absorb and Water Absorb gave me so much flexibility. The bulk was good enough. I was doing some weird EV stuff. I was throwing like max special attack, max special defense, but it worked out. Assault Vest just was really bulky. Yeah, no, I love Lantern. Lantern's great. I would draft it again. I probably won't in the near future because I want to try something new, but Lantern, I'd pay 8 points for it. I'd happily pay 8 points for it. But don't get any ideas, Draft League makers, because I like Lantern being cheap. It's just really nice. It does like recovery, and that's annoying, but with Grassy Terrain, it kind of healed quite a lot. And Lantern was a last-minute decision. I wasn't going to put it on my team, but great choice. Amazing choice. Thank you, Lantern. You're a hero. The silver medal, and everyone knows where the gold medal is going. The silver medal goes to Sneasler, and for good reason. Sneasler came to every single game. It got 5 kills, 4 deaths, perfectly reasonable, and its ability to go really fast basically kept me in the game every single time. Just that fast pivot, that clean-up potential, amazing, really amazing. You can see why it's worth 7 points. I didn't really manage to get the Unburdened sweep that often. I found I ended up liking choice items better. I was running Scarf Sneasler, and it was just good. I think that Unburden is strong, but when your opponent knows it's coming, it can be hard to find ways to do it. And the times when I did try, I kind of got walled by something or other. Like my opponent had prepped an answer for the Unburdened sweep. They'd like planned a way out, which you'd expect them to do, right? It's draft. They know what my team is. Whereas it's much harder to plan for Sneasler that just spams U-turn and Diaclaw in close combat. That's like just a generic threat. And I found that it was really strong. Happy I brought it every game. Unlike Lantern, it performed as well as I expected. Like 17 points seems appropriate. I wasn't like blown away by it. It was pretty much exactly what I wanted, but it was great. I was glad to have it. It's so ugly though. I mean, I say this every week, but Sneasler is just disgusting. I hate it. I really hate it. I have a vivid memory of when me and my partner were first dating, first getting to know each other. We were talking one late night, about fan fiction and the weird kinds of fan fiction that exist. For some reason, I was like, is there Sneasler fan? I was like, think of the most disgusting Pokemon. I was like, is there Sneasler fan fiction? And there is. I can confirm there is Sneasler fan fiction. My partner didn't know anything about Sneasler at the time. I've since like kind of slowly been indoctrinating her into the way of Pokemon. So she's now playing Pokemon Go and stuff. But back then, we were just kind of courting, and she knew nothing about Pokemon. But it was okay, because I introduced her to Sneasler, the most vile thing, and the fan fiction that surrounds it, which is out there, but probably not for the faint of heart. It's just not worth it. Don't sully your soul looking at that. Just know that it exists. Anyway, moving on. Ursaluna. It's just incredible. What is there to say, right? Blood Moon is a crazy move. 11 kills, 6 deaths. Bought it every game. Basically carried me every game. If I didn't have this, I think I would have gone like 0 and 8. I think I would have lost every single time. Because Ursaluna was my offensive pressure. Sneasler was my speed. But Ursaluna was how I won games. I got this in. Blood Moon had no switch-ins. And I just dismantled the enemy. This Pokemon is crazy. I'm like, having used it, 16 points is way too low. Like, I don't know, maybe it should be banned, maybe it shouldn't, but 16? Put it to 18. I reckon it's an 18 pointer. I would draft this up there with like Tusk and Darkrai and those guys. Like, this thing is nuts. It's so good. Maybe I'm just really good, but I don't think so. To be honest, I don't think this was me. I think this was Ursaluna using me as its puppet. Like, have you seen the movie Ratatouille with the little mouse on the man's head and he pilots him around? It's a bit like that, but it's like me with Ursaluna on my head. He's like a massive bear, and he's standing on tiptoes on my skull. He's piloting me, and he's like, roar, and I'm like, yeah, okay, Mr. Bear, we'll Blood Moon them again. I'll click Blood Moon for you. I don't know. That's kind of how it felt. I felt like I was just a vessel for Ursaluna to destroy my enemies. But that's how I got to the top 4 of my draft league. So yeah, these are the team. These are who I'll be bringing to my remaining 2 battles. Let's jump into the other teams. there are 3 other teams to look at, and we'll start with my next opponent. Here they are. It's Miami Heatmore. They were not a team I faced over the course of the tournament, but they were a strong contender all the way through. They had a really good run. And here they are now in top 4. This is a pretty scary one. Their team is weird, though. The team is probably the strangest of the top 4 teams. It's really interesting. It's cool. I like it a lot, but it's weird. Toxtricity is their worst Pokemon. They brought it to 1 battle and it died. I am a bit scared of Toxtricity with my team just because it's a poison type, and my team doesn't like poison types. It resists both of Sneasler's stab moves. It can hit Ursaluna really hard. It probably one-shots it with Boom Burst unless I have like maximum Speed for Assault Vest. I don't know. Although it hasn't done much for them so far, it's one to look out for in the matchup against me because I think it's pretty good against me. I don't have like a solid answer to it. Next, their second worst Pokemon is Altaria. It is one of their Tera captains, and they only brought it twice. And in those battles, got no kills, died once. This might not be Altaria's fault. I mean, it's a cheapish Tera captain, but the thing is their other Tera captain, who we'll get to, was really, really good. So I suspect that part of the reason Altaria's stats look underwhelming is that they really would like for a battle to be favourable to their other Tera captain in order to win. Next, Whimsicott. Stats look slightly better than Altaria's. 1 kill, 1 death. Twice brought. It's fine. It's pretty bad against my team, though. It so loses to Sneasler. It kind of beats Ursaluna Blood Moon, but I don't think it's actually strong enough to beat Ursaluna Blood Moon. Like, super effective Grass Knot will kill me, but it can't switch in. Like, it's way too frail. So, yeah, not too worried about Whimsicott. And now you see Excadrill, and you can see why I say this team is weird, right? Like, what's happening here? It kind of looks like a Pokemon Go team, Altaria, Whimsicott. Nah, Excadrill is only good in Master League and Pokemon Go, and Toxtricity just came out. I have no idea how good it is. I don't know. Excadrill, it's strong. It is a Stealth Rock setter. It's a Rapid Spinner. It's really good on sand, if you have sand. Hint, hint. Deoxys Speed, the one and only. This is their 18-pointer. This is their big guy. They've only brought it to half of their games. So for an 18-pointer, maybe it's underperforming. I brought my 16 and 17-pointers every single game. But I'm sure it did good in the games where it came. The stats are going to be misleading because it's like a lead hazard setter guy. So 3 kills, 4 deaths, sure, but maybe it got up 2 layers of spikes and did a big chunk to something. Yeah, I think Deoxys Speed is quite worrying for me because I don't have very good hazard control. It's just really hard for me to fit Defog onto my Mandibuzz, so I've been relying on Magic Bounce Hatterene. Magic Bounce Hatterene is not perfect because it's so prediction reliant. Next up is Blaziken. This is classic, like, hyper offense powerhouse. It does the speed boost thing, it protects against speed, it sweeps. It's strong. It's pretty strong, and it's pretty good against me. It will eventually outspeed Unburdened Sneasler, but it's going to take a few tries. And I can run Choice Scarf to outspeed it when it's at +1. I think I kill it with Close Combat because it's not that strong. But it does one-shot Ursaluna Blood Moon with Close Combat. It's pretty scary. If I let it get out of hand, I could just lose the game. Next, we have Primarina. Primarina is quite bad against me. Sneasler beats it. Rillaboom beats it. It's pretty good against Arcanine Hisui and pretty good against Ursaluna Blood Moon. But it loses so badly, and I can switch Lantern in, and I can Water Absorb it, so if it tries to Flip Turn, it will fail. Although it's performed well for them in the tournament, I don't think it's going to be great against me. Houndstone. You can see where this is going, right? We have another Sand Rush, Sand Abuser Pokemon. But look at how well this guy's done. 5 times brought, so more often than not, Houndstone's coming. Tera Captain, 7 kills, 2 deaths. It's been a menace for my opponent. I guess it's probably cleaning up games, and that's why it has It's really high kill count because my opponent's sending it in at the end to sweep through the weakened team. But that's doing great for a 10-pointer. That's a good investment. It's nice to see Houndstone succeeding because it really had its kneecaps removed. He doesn't have any kneecaps in the photo. That's because they removed his kneecaps when they removed Last Respects. And that was pretty sad. I don't know. It feels like it would be nice if there was like a way to make Houndstone fair, but Last Respects is not fair. But you kind of want him to succeed because he's like a good dog. But he's not fair. But he's succeeding here. And he doesn't have Last Respects because that's banned. So amazing. Like, I'm really happy that my opponent is succeeding with Houndstone. And of course, to nobody's surprise, Tyranitar was my opponent's last Pokemon. Brought 6 times, 3 kills, 4 deaths isn't great, but it was a sand setter, so that's okay. And now we have the full team, and you can see it. It's weird, right? We've got this like partial sand thing. We've got Tyranitar, Excadrill, and Houndstone as like a half sand, but we're not doing like full sand. We're just bringing like a touch of sand abuse. We don't even have to do sand. Like, it's like optional. But I feel like some of the other Pokemon like kind of hate sand, like Altaria and Primarina hate being chipped. Blaziken kind of hates being chipped. Darkstricity kind of hates being chipped. Yeah, I don't know. They're doing something very offensive. They've got this like offensive hazard lead. They've got the boosting Blaziken. They've got the massive damage from Specs Boom Burst. But I think it's cool. Like, it's unconventional. My opponent's clearly doing well with it. And yeah, I wish them best of luck in the tournament. So they're my next opponent. But let's look at the other two. They'll be battling each other. And I'll be facing one or the other of them. If I win, I'll be facing the winner of their match for the trophy. If I lose, I'll be facing the loser of their match as we fight for 3rd place for the bronze medal. The Blackheath Bulbasaur are the total underdogs of the tournament. And here they are, top 4. We'll go through their Pokemon from least used to most used. So, in last place we have Ariados. They've never brought it, and it's never done anything. This is their version of my Volbeat or Sewaddle. It's here, but probably not something that anyone's going to have to prepare for. Next we have Skuntank. It's one of their Tera options, and definitely their worst Tera option in practice. It was brought 3 times out of 8 games, never killed anything, died all 3 games, doesn't look good in the stats. Their other Tera captain, that they brought the other 5 games, looks much better for them. Next we have Torkoal, and this is kind of surprising because their team is a Sun team, but they only brought Sun half the time. I guess it's similar to me having a grassy terrain team and only bringing Rillaboom half the time. But still, I was expecting to see Torkoal more than this. Mediocre stats, but it's the Sun, right? Torkoal's not here to get 1,000 kills. They brought it half the time. It did fine. Next we have Hariyama. Came half the time, but amazing stats. Look at that, 7 kills, 3 deaths. We can assume that it was like belly drumming and sweeping. It might have had 1 game where it got 5 kills, and that's what's inflated it so high. But yeah, it looks good. I mean, they seem to be happy to have it. I have a lot of respect for Hariyama. We did a Gen 3 Nuzlocke, and we had this Hariyama called Garan, and Garan was just a champion in that game. Hariyama is really bulky, really strong, and that's great in the Nuzlocke. And seems to be good in Pokemon Draft League too. Next we have Corviknight. The stats probably betray how good it is. Again, this guy's not getting a lot of kills, but he's pivoting in, he's defogging, he's taking a bunch of physical hits. Came to 5 out of 8 games, looks good. I mean, it looks like a decent Pokemon. And the team at the halfway point here looks kind of unfocused. Like, it's hard to tell what it's doing. They've got 2 poison types. They've got a Sun team, but they've got Corviknight, and those seem like they have anti-synergy because Corviknight, one of Corviknight's few weaknesses is fire. It really doesn't appreciate fire getting stronger. Hariyama doesn't seem to like really do much with Sun. It's got thick fat, so it resists fire, so the enemy fire types will do half damage to it, but 50% boost from the Sun. I don't know, like, these 5 whelm me. They don't necessarily underwhelm me, but they certainly don't overwhelm me. They're just whelming. Here's Venusaur. We expected to see a chlorophyll Pokemon sooner or later, and here it is. It's really good. On Sun, it goes really, really fast. Came to 5 games. Interestingly, that means that there was 1 game where they brought it, at least 1 game, where they brought Venusaur but not Torkoal. But Venusaur has utility outside of Sun. It's got Sleep Powder, which is really nice. Accuracy is annoying, but it's really, really annoying if you get slept. And the stats are fine. 4 kills, 4 deaths. Probably killed something and then died. Often likes to run Life Orb, so it doesn't have much longevity. But it's a solid Pokemon. And it's scary because it's so fast. You have to really prepare your speed control for it. Next, Hisuian Electrode. This is their other Tera Captain. Came to 5 games. 6 kills and 3 deaths in those games. That's really, really good. It averaged twice as many kills as deaths. And this thing is pretty strong. It's one of these Pokemon that is pretty low ranked by usage, but it has kind of a niche in OU. It's just not a good enough niche for anyone to use it. But it's not like completely terrible in OU. It's really fast, and that's nice. Grass and Electric is okay. I mean, you can't hit dragons or grass type super effectively, which is pretty annoying. But you can run Terra Blast Ice, which goes great with Electric to hit the grass and dragons. So I think it's strong, and it's a good pivot in this game mode. Chloroblast is an interesting move. Yeah, I have some respect for Hisuian Electrode. I think it's probably a little underrated in general, and my opponent's clearly used it to good success here. Then, we're in the top 3 now. Enamorous. Amazing. It's a fast fairy type, which is kind of hard to come by. Moonblast is like the most spammable move in the game, and they brought it 6 times, 7 kills, 4 deaths. We would expect this thing to do well. It is great in OU at the moment. It struggles against steel types, but that's something you can get around, especially on a Sun team where you have strong fire type damage to hit the steels. Enamorous is great. Second, coming to every single game, we have Gouging Fire. Gouging Fire is a cracked Pokemon. Gouging Fire is crazy strong, and it makes sense that they brought it every game. It's got really incredible bulk. It has Dragon Dance, it has Burning Bulwark to burn things, it's got Recovery with Morning Sun. The Dragon Dance Morning Sun 2 attack set is so hard to deal with for like anything, because it just sets up, you can't one-shot it because it's so bulky, it'll like survive an earthquake and then heal back off, and you're like, really, Gouging Fire? It's wonderful on Sun, it can output heaps of damage, it's just really, really good. The stats don't look so great for it. 4 kills, 6 deaths. I guess they never got a real sweep going with it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't helpful in game. There is a Pokemon that did even better than Gouging Fire. Their number 1 Pokemon, also coming to every game but with a better kill-death ratio, was Garchomp. 8 games, 8 kills, 7 deaths. Garchomp is really, really versatile. It sets hazards, it punishes physical sweepers with Rough Skin and Rocky Helmet, it has Dragon Tail to bounce things around, and it's strong. It can Scale Shot to set up, it hits really hard, Dragon Ground's good typing. It's just good. Like, I think it's strong. It really likes running Fire-type coverage, it likes running Fire Blast, and that gets boosted by the Sun. Because if it doesn't have Fire Blast, it can't deal with the flying steels like Skarmory and Corviknight. And it's good coverage. Let's hit grass types super effectively as well. Yeah. So that's the team. It's interesting. You can see, looking at it, why it's like they only bought Torkoal 4 times. It's kind of like semi-Sun. They've really only got 2 Sun abusers. They've got Chlorophyll, Venusaur, and Photosynthesis, Gouging Fire. But that's a powerful trio. Just getting a speed doubling on your Venusaur and a stat boost on your Gouging Fire makes Torkoal probably worthwhile, because those are both crazy effects. And yeah, and they've got a nice supporting cast. Clearly, it's done well, right? They beat the number 1 player in the bracket with it, and now they're in the top 4 in contention for the prize. We may fight them in the finals, depending on the outcome of the semifinals. And lastly, the last team we'll look at is Arsenal. Now this team is going to look familiar, because we fought it before. We fought it in week 6. And we lost to it, which was pretty sad, but they played well. Well, I did a crazy thing where I stayed in with Arcanine Hisuian against Azumarill and clicked Head Smash, and I felt like a genius, but I missed Head Smash, so I lost. That was the game. Lost on turn 1, basically. I misplayed after that too. I actually had more counterplay to it than I thought I did, but alas. Anyway, we're looking at Arsenal, and here's their token my Pokemon didn't come. It's electric, not even Electros. They never brought it, it never did anything. Next, Copperaja. So Copperaja was a late addition to their team. They actually wanted Orthworm. I know this because they asked me if I wanted to give them Orthworm, and I said, no, I want Orthworm. And so they had to take Copperaja. Sorry about that, fellow player, but you were my opponent, so I couldn't give you an extra advantage. And I'm glad I didn't, because I may have to fight you in this tournament. I may have to rematch you. And in that case, I selfishly would prefer your team be weaker. So they've got Copperaja, comes to 2 games, and the stats are good. 2 kills, 1 death. It's looking okay for Copperaja. Next we have Cinderace. This is also a recent addition. Came to only 2 games, because they subbed it in late. No kills, 1 death. It's a pivot though. It comes in, it maybe court changes the hazards, maybe does some chip, and then U-turns out to something else. So yeah, it's a 17-point Pokemon. You can see it's pretty expensive, but it is good. Like it can shut down entire strategies in draft. If your opponent is playing like Hazard Stack with Golden Go and Glamora or Tinglu, or they're playing Sticky Webs, or they're playing Screens, you can just say no, sorry, I'll have those actually, and that can win you games. Next we have Serena. Serena is a weird Pokemon. They brought it 3 times. Stats are underwhelming. Don't have too much to say on it. And then we have Darkrai, and you might think, oh my god, Darkrai. Darkrai is 5th of 10? There's 5 Pokemon that use more than Darkrai? Yeah, there are. But the stats on Darkrai are good. 5 games, 6 kills, 2 deaths. It's a crazy Pokemon. It's really strong. But there were some games when they didn't want it. Next we have Azumarill. Also 5 games, same as Darkrai. 11 kills, 4 deaths. What a behemoth, what a monster. This thing got half of its 11 kills against me, to be fair. I think I gave it 5 kills of those 11. So if you take me out of the equation, it went like 6-3 over 4 games. However, you can't take me out of the equation, and I gave it 5 kills. So that's why it's got so many kills. It's my fault. Sorry, guys. Well, my bad. But it's scary. I mean, it belly drums, it's got Aqua Jet. We all know what Azumarill does. It's a jolly little Easter bunny. Are you guys excited for Easter? Do you guys have Easter in other parts of the world? We have Easter, right, in New Zealand. But because we're in the Southern Hemisphere, the seasons are swapped. So it's autumn instead of spring. And so we have the spring festival. You know, we're celebrating like the birth of new life, right? We've got eggs and we've got baby bunny rabbits. Like spring has come, except it's autumn and it's getting colder and the leaves are falling from the trees and everything is turning a bit brown and dying. And so Easter takes on this slightly melancholy feel. It's like, oh, yeah, yay. Remember baby birds? Those won't be around for long because winter is coming. Anyway, Gligar. Gligar was a Tera captain of theirs. They brought it 6 times, 1 kill, 5 deaths. Not the most outstanding stats, but I presume this thing was mostly just a spiker. It just comes in with its nice defensive typing, clicks entry hazards, and then pivots out or dies. So it probably did its job, right? It's pretty bulky with the Violite. It clicks utility moves, it can knock off, it can toxic, but it's probably not killing anything. So you have the stats, and you probably want to sack it eventually to bring one of your big sweepers in. And then we have Lucario, their other Tera captain. Now you'll notice they've got 6 games on both, which means there was quite a lot of overlap. There were lots of games where they bought both Gligar and Lucario, which is interesting. They if I remember, their Gligar's Tera is a Fairy and Water, I think, and their Lucario's a Ghost and Normal. So they've got like a defensive Tera option and an offensive Tera option, and they often didn't decide which one they wanted until they were in battle, which I respect. That's like good use of flexibility. Lucario's stats look great, and it's an amazing Tera captain because of Tera Normal Extreme Speed. I suspect that's how it's got so many kills. You Swords Dance, you Tera Normal Extreme Speed, and you just sweep through entire teams. Very powerful. Then, Petulant, 7 times, brought 7 times, 4 kills, 4 deaths. This thing is a really, really annoying defensive pivot. I found it so annoying when I was theorizing against my opponent. I was like, oh my god, it's immune to close combat from Sneasler. It quadruple resists Diaclaw and can't be poisoned by Diaclaw. And Throat Chop does like 27% to it because it's so physically bulky. I was like, Petulant is a nightmare. And then it didn't end up mattering because Azumarill was also a nightmare, and that nightmare came before the Petulant nightmare, so I never really got to enjoy the Petulant nightmare. But on paper, it looked so annoying for my team. Now, admittedly, I could hit it with Earth Power from Ursaluna Blood Moon, but I brought a Covert Cloak Ursaluna Blood Moon so that I wouldn't be affected by Malignant Chain, and I could kind of switch in Ursaluna Blood Moon every time. But they could just Parting Trot out and keep momentum. So I thought Pitcherant was really, really strong on their team and really annoying to deal with. It just didn't end up mattering in my battle against them. And finally, Latias came to every single game. The stats are not that crazy. I guess they never got like a 6-0 sweep with Carmine Sword Power. But they brought it every time. And Latias has this enormous move pool. It can do so many things. I'm sure that this opponent, the Ursalunas, Ursinal, has done some very, very interesting creative team building over the draft. I'm sure that there is a lot they can do with Latias in these semi-final and finals matches. So, those are all 4 teams. Which brings us back to the matchup chart. Let's watch the Bulbasaurs and the Ursalunas first, see how they go, and then we'll get to my battle against the Heatmores. Here we are in the semi-finals battle between newly anointed first seed Ursaluna and newly anointed 4th seed Bulbasaur. Now, they've bought pretty standard teams. You'll see that the Sun team doesn't have Torkoal, so we're not doing a full Sun experience. We're doing a strong balance team, basically. They've got Enamorus for speed. They might have a Choice Scarf. They've got Garchomp because of the hazards. They've got Corviknight for pivoting. Guardian Fire and Hariyama are both physical setup sweepers. And then Skuntank, I don't know what it does, but I'm willing to be surprised. On the Ursaluna side, we have a very standard lineup for them. They've got both of their Terra Captains. Again, they have a Pinchant. How do you say that? Pinchant? They have a Pinchant? A Pinchant? A Pinchant? A Pinchant for bringing both and then choosing mid-game which one's Terra. They have Copperaja, probably set the hazards. And then they have their crazy offensive Pokemon, Darkrai Latias and Lucario. I haven't watched this battle. I'll just give my live thoughts. This isn't going to be pristine, in-depth analysis. This is going to be us watching a battle together, me giving my thoughts. I might be totally wrong. If you disagree with something that I say, I'm probably wrong, and you're probably right. But that's okay. Make your bets now on leads. Who do I think they'll lead? I think that we're going to get Darkrai and Garchomp. Or Garchomp's so bad against Darkrai. Enamorus and Scarf Enamorus? Enamorus and Gligar? My vote's on Enamorus and Gligar, but it's a tentative vote. I'm not that confident. Let's find out. Pitcherant and Hariyama, I was totally wrong. That's interesting. Okay, so what do we think they're going to do? Hariyama, I wonder if the Bulbasaurs are just going to Belly Drum instantly on turn 1 and try to make something happen. If they have Guts, which is possible, then they actually like to be poisoned by Pitcherant. I wonder what happens here. I don't know what would happen. Maybe Malignant Chain and Belly Drum? I don't know. It's anyone's guess. I mean, Knockoff looks pretty good from Hariyama. Let's find out. Switch into Skuntank. Okay. Nasty plot. Okay. So Skuntank does look nice as a Pitcherant counter. It's immune to the poison status condition. It resists poison and ghost. It looks pretty good. If this has like an Assault Vest, you can click Crunch or something. Oh, maybe they've gone special and they're going to click Dark Pulse to hit Pitcherant's weaker special defense stat. It looks pretty good as a Pitcherant answer. Let's see if the Ursalunas have a plan to counterattack. Malignant Chain does a lot to Skuntank, and the knockoff comes out. So Skuntank was able to take a Malignant Chain very nicely. But it's not going to be able to take them forever, because I don't think Skuntank can heal. It knocks off Pitcherant's Shuka Berry, which is interesting. The problem is its knockoff didn't do that much damage because Pitcherant has so much defense, and now knockoff's going to do even less damage. So even though Skuntank has the type advantage, I don't know if it actually wins the 1v1. Let's find out. Crit Malignant Chain, Dark Pulse. Okay, now, did the crit matter? No, it didn't. Well, we'll see. It's going to be a 3-hit KO anyway. It does 35 without a crit and 51 with a crit. So it might have been like a roll thing to 3-hit KO. Now it's a guaranteed 3-hit KO, but it hasn't like instantly swung the battle, I don't think. Skuntank, unfortunately, is going to lose the matchup because it's slower. If it has Sucker Punch, if it's running like Knock Off, Dark Pulse, Sucker Punch, Triple Dark, then it'll win. But that's a kind of crazy moveset. Let's have a look. It does have Sucker Punch. Oh no! That's unfortunate because the Triple Dark Skuntank is iconic, but the picture runs predict it. I guess they didn't predict it. Recover's pretty safe there. You know that Skuntank can't do more than half your health, so why not recover? But that's rough for the Bulbasaurs because if Skuntank was their picture run answer, and it didn't actually answer picture run at all, they're in big trouble. Here's Sucker Punch, but it's too little too late. And Skuntank goes down, picture run healthy as heck, but switching out at the threat of Garchomp into Gligar. Now, Gligar looks like a good Garchomp answer. It's bulky, it can set up hazards, it's immune to Earthquake. What's it going to do? We have Stealth Rock and Toxic, just trading utility moves. That Garchomp's on a timer now, but the rocks are pretty nice for the Bulbasaurs because they don't have a Rapid Spinner or a Defogger on the Ursaluna's team, so they can't get rid of them, which is good. I mean, I liked the Garchomp turn 1 lead quite a lot for that reason, but it's okay. The battle's the battle, and the show must go on. Now, I wonder if Gligar's going to knock or pivot out now that it's got the Toxic on the Garchomp. Garchomp's just getting the hazards up. Gligar's going to get its own hazards, just trading hazards. Gligar's going to chip Garchomp down. Rocks and 3 layers of spikes go up for the Bulbasaurs. Can the Ursalunas deal with this? If the Bulbasaurs can, like, force them to switch around a bunch now. Here's the knock from Gligar. Mirror Herb on Corviknight is interesting. Corviknight's going to try to go for some kind of body press thing, but it's never getting through Pitch Run. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work, Corviknight. Oh, no, it's Power Trip. It might work. It's still not going to work, unless they have a second boosting move, like Agility or something. They needed Bulk Up rather than Iron Defense, so they could click it more times to get more stat boosts. As it stands, and also boost the Power Trip damage. They either needed Bulk Up or they needed Agility as well as Iron Defense. This is never going to break through the pitch run. It's just going to set up, unfortunately. But we can watch Corviknight flail for a bit. And yeah, I think the Bulbasaurs should switch out and try to cut their losses because it's only going to get worse for them. I mean, I know they're like taking Roost PP from pitch run, taking Recover PP, but this just looks real bad for the Bulbasaurs now. Here's Gouging Fire. It's going to go for the Dragon Dance, but Malignant Chain, yeah, there was no shot. Hariyama is... I think the Bulbasaurs are just lost. Because they need a special attacker to kill Pitchurant, and Enamorus is, like, pretty bad. I mean, it's got Earth Power. You're going to have to hope Earth Power kills from this range. But... okay, it does. That's good. If Enamorus can, like, reverse sweep... if it's Choice Scarf, though, it's just screwed. Because... no, it's Agility. Okay, but I don't think Moonblast kills a full health Latias. Whoa, it almost did. Okay. It might have been a roll. But it didn't matter, because even if it did, there was a Extreme Speed Lucario in the back that could Tera and just kill the Enamorus. So, that's the game. The Ursalunas move on to the finals. They are top 2. They're getting at least a silver medal from this ordeal, and maybe they'll walk away with the golden trophy. The Bulbasaurs are sent down into the 3rd place match. They will be battling for bronze with whoever loses my match against the Heatmores. So let's have a look at that, shall we? Here is the team I brought to my semi-finals match against the Heatmores. It's a bit weird and wacky. I thought, you know, this could be one of my last games. I might be out. I might be done for. Let me try some stuff. I didn't bring Unburdened Sneasler. In hindsight, I think that was a mistake. I think Unburdened actually looks pretty good against their team. But I didn't bring it. I brought the Choice Scarf variant. And I gave it Dig, mostly because I only really needed Diaclaw, Close Combat, and U-Turn. I had this kind of spare move slot. I could have given it Switcheroo. That probably would have been better. But, like, Throat Chop doesn't really help. It hits Houndstone, but I didn't care that much about Houndstone. And Dig lets me shock Toxtricity in an endgame. So I thought Dig will be funny. If Dig works out, I'll look like a genius. So I brought Dig. I brought Standard Rillaboom. Grass Glide would have my U-turn knockoff. This is very, very standard. I don't know what I was outspeeding, but presumably 212 speed EVs gets some benchmark that I liked. I brought Trick Room Hatterene and Slow Ursaluna. So I thought, oh, Trick Room's never worked out for me because I keep playing it real badly. Let's try it. Let's try it one last time. Maybe it'll work. I thought their team looks pretty fast, right? They've got Deoxys Speed, they've got Speed Boost Blaziken, they've got Sandrush Excadrill, they've got like Toxtricity, which likes a Choice Scarf, they've got Houndstone, which has Sandrush. Like everything's fast. Their slowest Pokemon are like still okay. So they've got Tyranitar 61 and Primarina 60, but that's much faster still than like Ursaluna and Hatterene. So I thought we'll do Trick Room, right? They can't outspeed me in Trick Room, so let's try it. And then I just pumped Special Attack, doing as much damage as possible, big Psyshocks and Dazzling Gleams, hitting everything I want except for Excadrill. Excadrill looks pretty annoying for this. I was okay with that because I could switch to Ursaluna on Excadrill, and Excadrill hates Ursaluna. Yeah, that was the game plan. And then I bought Troppleberry Ursaluna Blood Moon because I thought that I wanted to be able to survive a Blaziken close combat. I thought that there would be a lot of times where close combat would hit me, and it goes from a clean OHKO down to a 56 to 66% roll. I also thought that low kick on Tyranitar was pretty likely, and that also superpower from Deoxys Speed. I thought that they had a lot of incentive to bring a fighting type attack on their guys, and I wanted to be able to take one. And then I just bought 3 attacks plus Moonlight. This is the set that I have enjoyed throughout the tournament. I really like the Spadef EVs on Ursaluna. I think that you just get so much out of them. Throughout the tournament, I've survived so many special hits that it doesn't look like Ursaluna should survive because of the Spadef EVs. And then I brought Lantern. I decided I didn't really need Ice Beam or Dazzling Gleam. I didn't really need the coverage. I was happy with just Scald and Discharge. Ice Beam and Dazzling Gleam, they only really would be nice for Altaria and Whimsicott, but neither of those scared me that much. I thought if it's Altaria, I'll just flip turn on Discharge. That's fine, because it might Terra anyway. And if it's Whimsicott, who cares, right? It's Whimsicott. It's not my biggest worry. So let me bring Rain Dance and just have an emergency, I'm turning off your weather button, because I was a bit scared of Excadrill and Houndstone. Like, I'm not very well equipped to deal with things that are faster than Sneasler. So, I've got my emergency turn off the weather button, and I brought Terra Steel with Volt Absorb so that I could beat Toxtricity, because Boom Burst is just so scary. And with Terra Steel, I am immune to Electric because of Volt Absorb, I'm immune to Poison because of being a Steel type, and I resist Normal because I'm a Steel type. So I do really well in Toxtricity. I switched from Assault Vest to Leftovers at the last minute, because I was like, oh, I want Rain Dance, so I'll switch to Assault Vest. And, as you'll see in a moment, it cost me in the end, because the calcs, with and without Assault Vest, are quite different. And then it was Max Special Attack and Max Special Defense. I wanted Lantern to be able to do some damage. I feel like when you go like Max Bulk, like this, you just end up so passive. So I wanted Special Attack. That also might have ended up costing me, but I digress. And then finally, we have Mandibuzz. This was my ground type switch in. I've got Toxic and Foul Play, so if they try to do something with Blaziken, my Foul Play does a bajillion damage to it, and Toxic puts it on a timer, which is really nice. Now, I gotta be careful of them running Substitute, but I will do that. I'll scout with Foul Play before I commit to Toxic. That's the team. I mean, these are just my core 6 that I brought most games over the draft. No Arcanine Hisui, because they've got too many fast ground types and fighting types. I was like, don't want to bring Arcanine Hisui. Comfey didn't look very good, because they only have one fairy weakness, and it's Tyranitar, which is going to take like 10% from super effective Draining Kiss, so I didn't think Comfey was good. The main thing I considered was Earthworm or Mandibuzz. I knew I needed a ground immunity, and they both fit the bill. Problem is, Excadrill has Mold Breaker, and I thought, well, Sandrush they probably want, but maybe they want Mold Breaker. And if they run Mold Breaker, they can hit my Earthworm through its ability, through Earth Eater, and I didn't like that. So I chose Mandibuzz, because they can't hit my Mandibuzz through its type. That's the team. Let's watch the battle. The battle begins, and I think Sneasel looks like the lead I want. I've brought the Choice Scarf Sneasler specifically so I have a lead. I've got something I can bring. And it looks great into Excadrill and Tyranitar, because Combat Sim, so they can't do anything sand. It's great into Whimsicott, Diaclaw. It's great into Blaziken. And it's great into Deoxys Speed because of Diaclaw. So I beat everything except Toxtricity with Sneasler. It seemed like a no-brainer. They led Toxtricity, which is the one thing that I don't beat. However, I didn't think this was too bad, because I thought, well, I can just U-turn out. It'll be fine. I can go into my Lantern, who's my dedicated Toxtricity answer, and I'll be fine. So I click U-turn, and the Toxtricity clicks Boom Burst. And I looked at my Lantern's health, and I saw it go down by 69%, and I thought, oh, I should have brought Assault Vest, and I should have put HP EVs in, because this is not a Toxtricity answer. This is a Toxtricity 2-hit KO. Thankfully, after Leftovers healing, they don't kill me if I Tera. They will put me to like 1% health, but I can survive. Problem is, I don't kill them with Scold. But I thought, well, I have to Tera, and then what I have to do is hope that I can switch into an electric move, or switch into Grassy Train a bunch of times, and heal my Lantern back up over the course of the game. Because this thing does too much damage. Now, that's like Specs damage. It has to be Specs. But one of the problems with my whole draft overall, is I don't have a single Ghost type. So I don't have a normal type immunity. I can't take a Boom Burst. I mean, I wish I had Terra Ghost on something, but I don't. So yeah, I think I have to Terra. I mean, I'm going to Terra my Lantern anyway. I don't have my other Terra Captain. I didn't bring Earthworm, so there's no real cost to Terraing. And at least if I can get Chip on Toxtricity, I'll put it into range of close combat from Sneasler, and then I can force it out with Sneasler every time it KOs me, at least. So I'm going to Terra. I expect them to just click Boom Burst again and take the kill. But they don't. They hard switch to Whimsicott. So I Terra, and it doesn't help. And then I do pitiful damage with my Scold. And now I'm facing down Whimsicott, which I'm not too afraid of. I think, well, it's faster than me. It's much faster than me. And I can... Oh, I've had the wrong graphics up. Hold on a minute. I'm not going to re-record that. I'm too lazy. So, yeah, hang on a moment. You might have noticed that a while ago and been like, why did you got to change the graphics, you fool? That's justified, I suppose. Let's do it now, shall we? And there we go. So, here are the true Pokemon. Don't listen to past Henry, who was claiming nonsense with his old sprites. And I was thinking, I can flip turn out. I'm slower. I'm a Steel type now, so I resist Grass and Fairy, and I'm especially bulky, so it's not going to be able to kill me with anything. Maybe I get Stun Spored or Encored into Scold, but so be it. So I click flip turn, and I go first, and I'm thinking, oh, they're running Lagging Tail or Iron Ball. I think that's the only way they're slower than me, because my speed is like 160, and Whimsicott's min speed is 213. So they have to have a speed reducing item in order to go slower than me. But that's really annoying, right? Because now I have to pivot something else into Whimsicott. I decide to bring in Hatterene because I thought that they were kind of incentivized to go for Stun Spore or Leech Seed or something, and I wanted to reflect that back at them. Now, admittedly, those wouldn't actually affect Whimsicott because it's Grass type, but better than one of my Pokemon getting affected by them. But they U-turned out with the slower thing, and now they're in it as Excadrill. And here I thought, Ironhead looks really, really strong. I thought, oh my god, Excadrill beats Hatterene. No, that Iron Ball Whimsicott really paid off for them. And I thought, the only thing I'm like 99% sure they're not going to do is click Stealth Rock, because I have Magic Bounce. I think they're going to click Ironhead. Maybe they click Rapid Spin or Swords Dance and try to get something going. There's no way they're clicking Stealth Rock. So I kind of have to switch. I thought, if I switch to Mandibuzz, it doesn't resist Ironhead. It's going to take a chunk, but it's okay. It'll get 3-hit carried by it, but I'll be able to boost. I'm immune to Earthquake. If they Swords Dance, I can take one Ironhead and kill with Foul Play. So I just thought Mandibuzz looks like my best switch. I got a Balloon, so Earthloon can't hit them one shot. So I switched to Mandibuzz, and they click Rocks, and I thought, oh my god, they've Rocked against my Hatterene. They're the bravest person in the world. Like, that takes guts, because, look, I mean, they'd be so screwed if the Rocks got bounced. Now, admittedly, it seemed like I had to switch, so it's not that bad of a move, but it was a risky move, I was thinking. And I said in chat, like, I'm going to title this video, my opponent clicked Stealth Rocks against Mandibuzz. It worked. And yeah, I mean, brave. But they're just even better than I thought. they were always going to get up the rocks because they're not running Sand Rush, Excadrill. They're running Mold Breaker, and Mold Breaker negates Magic Bounce. And I had no idea. First of all, I was not expecting Mold Breaker because they've brought Tyranitar. And second of all, I didn't know Mold Breaker worked on status moves, but it does. So, I mean, I did know that it did, because I know that Hawlucha can defog against Golden Go because of Mold Breaker. But it's still very interesting that that's an interaction, and I certainly will be remembering it. But yeah, no, I never had a chance to get rid of Stealth Rocks. They were going up even if I stayed in a Saturnine, which is a terrifying thought. But I didn't realize this until after the game, when my opponent told me. I was sitting there in the game, I was a bit stunned. I was like, they clicked Stealth Rocks against Hatterene. And after the game, they were like, no, my friend. I was always going to get Rocks up. And I was like, oh, they're a genius. So anyway, they get Stealth Rocks up, and now I'm in trouble. So I think, well, I kind of have to foul play, right? This Excadrill looks really strong, and it's got really high attack and really low defense. So foul play will do a huge amount. They Iron Head, I click foul play, and they get the flinch. And this was really annoying because foul play was going to do like 80% of their health. And it's 20% flinch chance, 30% flinch chance. I was like, oh, the flinch, no. Not now. But that's Pokemon. And I thought, okay, well, I can't click foul play again because I'm going to get my Mandibuzz too low, and I need it to be able to tank like a bunch of their threats. So I have to Roost. They click Iron Head again. I think, please don't flinch twice in a row. They don't, and then I Roost. And they go into Toxtricity. So all in all, not too bad of an encounter with the Excadrill, but the flinch was really annoying. And now Toxtricity's in, and I don't have a switch. I don't have a switch for Boom Burst. My normal resist was Lantern, who is going to die to Boom Burst. It's on way too low health, and his Rocks up. So the only way I'm beating Toxtricity now is offensively. So I think, okay, maybe they won't click Boom Burst. Maybe they'll click a Lightning type move, because I am Mandibuzz. But if they do that, I can go into Volt Absorb Lantern next turn, because I know they're choiced. I can go into Volt Absorb Lantern next turn and get the healing. So I thought, fine, we'll sack Mandibuzz. It failed to do its job, but I'd rather sack it than any of my other Pokemon. So I just stay in. I click Foul Play, because I've got Toxic, but Toxic is not going to work on Toxtricity. I click Foul Play. I just want some guaranteed damage. I survive the Boom Burst. The 40% Toxtricity is really nice. It's kind of game-saving, because now I can kill it with Sneasel, with close combat. I'm not out of the woods, but I haven't lost. Mandibuzz goes down. I bring in Rillaboom. Now, Rillaboom is Choice Band, Max Attack, Adamant, it's really strong. I kill with Grassy Glide, kill Toxtricity, and I kill with Woodhammer. And I thought, well, I'm faster, because they must be specs. So I'm just going to click Woodhammer. I'm going to click Woodhammer, and IVV to be like 1 speed faster than Toxtricity. I believe my speed stat is 274. And you can see Toxtricity's max speed is 273. So I always outspeed. I always kill with Woodhammer, easily. I'm just going to click it, and they don't really have a switch. Whimsicott gets 2 hit KO'd by it, and I know that it's slow now. Deoxys gets 1 hit KO'd, Blaziken gets 1 hit KO'd because it's so frail, even though it's a fire type. Tyranitar gets 1 hit KO'd, Excadrill gets 1 hit KO'd. Woodhammer, I can finally get a kill. So I expect them to stay in and sack Toxtricity, but they don't. They switch to T-Tar. They get... And you'll notice the sand didn't go up because this is unnerved Tyranitar. It's unnerved Tyranitar. They're not even doing sand. They're turning off my berries, which would have been good if they'd low-kicked my Ursaluna, because I was Truffle Berry Ursaluna. But instead, it just dies to Woodhammer in one shot. I think, okay, I've got my kill. It's 5-5. It's still a game, right? I think they are slightly advantaged because of the rocks, but it's still a game. I take a lot of recall damage, but that's okay. And in comes Blaziken. And here, I thought, well, they can kill me with a fire-type move, but I don't really want to sack someone. And Blaziken has a high likelihood to try to do something funky. Maybe it'll substitute. Maybe it will protect. Maybe it will sword stance. And I thought, I don't want to let it get its sub up. Like, if I let this thing get a substitute up, I've just lost the game. So I decide I'm just going to keep clicking Woodhammer until Rillaboom dies. Maybe they just keep substituting. Maybe they do something else crazy. But Woodhammer is an Oko, so I'm just going to click it. And I one-shot them. And I thought, yes, yes, 2 kills for Rillaboom. I suspect they went for the Swords Dance, hoping they'd be able to force me out. But the threat of Blaziken setting up and sweeping was way too high for me to switch there. So I just kill Blaziken, and down it goes. And I'm finally thinking, okay, I'm back now. I'm actually up. Here comes Excadrill, and I look at their team and I think, do I need to preserve Rillaboom? It's pretty bad into Toxtricity and Whimsicott. It's not great into Deoxys Speed, and it's pretty good into Excadrill. I decide I don't need to preserve it, but I think that was a mistake, because I kind of forgot that, like, it's bad on paper against Toxtricity and Whimsicott, but in practice it Oko's Toxtricity and probably beats Whimsicott, because Whimsicott is like a weird utility set. So I probably should have sacked something else and preserved my Rillaboom, but I didn't. I was kind of just riding the high, right? I was like, I've got 2 kills with this. Can I get a third? You know, maybe they're not max speed Excadrill, but they were, and they killed me. I thought, okay, it's 4-4. This is fine. Here's Sneasler. Now, I kill this thing with Close Combat, of course, but Close Combat is resisted by all their other Pokemon. So if I click it and they switch, I'm not going to do enough. It'll kill Toxtricity, but I didn't expect them to switch that in. Toxtricity is going to be like their revenge killer. It's like their version of my Ursaluna. I thought I just had to click Close Combat, but then I thought, well, they're going to know that I had to click Close Combat, so they're going to have to switch. So I should U-turn to keep up the pressure. I thought that U-turn looked really good against Tox, Deoxys, and Whimsicott, and if they stayed in as Excadrill, it was okay enough. I wasn't, like, losing. So I clicked U-turn, and unfortunately they stayed in. Close Combat would have killed. I was like, oh, no, I made the wrong call. But it's okay. You just can't get every call, right? I made some good calls this game. I made some bad calls. This was one of the bad ones. Popped the balloon, though, which is nice. And I decided to just sack Lantern. I didn't think Lantern was really doing anything anymore. I mean, it just kind of loses to everything. The fact that it was on such low health, it gets one shot by everybody. I just sacked it. I didn't care for it. And I brought in my Ursaluna. And now I get a kill. I thought, I'm going to get a kill here. And I can click Blood Moon, and it will kill any of the backline, but it won't kill Excadrill. Or I can click Earth Power, and it will kill anything except for Whimsicott. And I thought in my brain, Blood Moon's better, because I don't mind taking a bit of chip from Excadrill. It's not going to kill me. And killing the backline is great. And then I thought, oh, but like last time I thought that, I U-turned with Sneasler instead of close combating. I should just take the kill now. I shouldn't make the same mistake twice in a row. I should Earth Power, take the kill on Excadrill. They seem to be willing to sacrifice it. I should just let them, right? I should take the kill. So I click Earth Power, and this time they do switch into Whimsicott, which was the correct play. And I thought, no, I made the wrong call twice in a row. They totally won. They read me both times, and it was just nice on their end. I didn't know what the heck they were going to do. I stayed in and clicked Blood Moon. I thought, if they Grass Knot, so be it. I'll lose. But they Encore me, and that is kind of annoying. And here I thought that I had to switch out because I was stuck into Earth Power and it was kind of bad against Whimsicott. Thing is, I don't think I actually did, because Earth Power is actually a good move to be locked into against their other 3 Pokemon. It's only Whimsicott that it's bad against, but I didn't think they had Grass Knot because I thought they would have used it if they had it. So I probably should have stayed in, but I didn't. I switched. I switched to Hatterene. And they click U-turn into Toxtricity. I wish that I had clicked Earth Power, because I would have killed. If I just stayed in and clicked Earth Power, they would have been faster than me, because even though they were Iron Ball, I was still slower than them. And I would have just killed the Toxtricity, and probably won the game. But I didn't. I switched to Hatterene, and it was not the right move. So if you're keeping track, I've made 3 bad moves in a row, and That's not good, right? I'm kind of choking. I'm choking a bit. It's not looking great for me. Down goes Hatterene. I had to let it go down. In comes Sneasler. And now I'm on the back foot. And it's my own doing, right? This wasn't a case of like me making one blunder and totally throwing a lead. It was a pretty even game, and I just made bad moves. My opponent made good moves incrementally until I was put this far in the back foot. But I still hadn't lost because I can click close combat here. They go to Excadrill, sacrificing it. I kill. Okay, I think. Now it's 3 versus 2. My Slinks was damaged. Here comes Whimsicott. I can click Diaclaw pretty freely, or I can switch, which I do. And they switch a Rumi. Now I have the Iron Ball, but it actually doesn't matter because my speed is now like 49. I'm the slowest thing around, but I was slower than everything anyway. It's not that bad. If they'd hit my Sneasler with it, it would have been bad. And had I stayed in, they would have because of Prankster. So I'm glad I switched in hindsight, even though I wasn't. I was like, oh no, I shouldn't have switched to stayed in Diaclawed. I'm glad I switched because Sneasler is now faster than Toxtricity, and Ursaluna is doing fine. I can click Blood Moon here for free, and I click Memento. What the heck, Memento? But Memento is pretty scary. And here's Toxtricity. And look at this. I survive the Boom Burst and kill with Earth Power. That's my special defense EVs. If I didn't have those Spadef EVs, I was dead. I was out of luck. But instead, I survive and I kill with Earth Power. And now they're down to their last Pokemon, and it's Deoxys Speed. And I have an Ursaluna who's definitely going to die, not going to do anything. I click Blood Moon in case they do some weird thing, but they don't. And we are in this end game. The Deoxys Speed has hard special attack, but they have a 4 times effective Psycho Boost. So that will kill. But it's 90% accuracy. So I have a 10% chance to win the game. I don't one-hit KO with anything, but I'm faster, and I 2-hit KO. So if they don't kill me this turn, I win the game. So I have to either dodge it, 10% chance, or put them to sleep with Diaclaw, or paralyze them with Diaclaw and get the full power. So I have a 10% chance from the miss on Psycho Boost. I have a 16% chance from the sleep on Diaclaw, and I have a 4% chance from the paralysis because I need 16% and then 1 in 4. If you add those all up, you get 30%. Now, that's not how the math actually works because these are like independent probabilities. So I suspect my odds are actually a bit lower. I can't do the probability calculation in my head, and I don't know which triggers first out of Poison Touch and Diaclaw. If Poison Touch triggers first, then it reduces my chance of winning by 30% because Poison Touch will activate, poison them, and then Diaclaw won't be able to put them to sleep or paralyze them. So that would cut my 20% winning down to like 12%, and then I'd be at like 22. So anyway, I don't have the numbers, but it's something like a 20 to 30% chance that I win the game, and a 70 to 80% chance my opponent wins the game. And I mean, those odds are not good, but they're the best I could do. It's a roll of the dice. If I'm lucky, I will be in the finals match against the Ursalunas for the trophy, for the crown, for the tower. I could win it all. But if I'm unlucky, and it won't have to be that unlucky, on average, I will lose. I will be playing in the relegation match, fighting for bronze. Are you guys ready to see? It could all end here, or this could be merely the beginning. I click Diaclaw. Poison Touch activates. Psycho Boost hits, and that's the game. The Heatmores defeated me. 1-0. And we'll be moving on to the finals match against the Ursalunas. I will be playing in the bronze medal match against the Bulbasaurs. I was so close, folks. I was so close. It was within my grasp. I just made some bad plays. I had shots where I could have won it, but I didn't. I mean, my opponent played really well. They had really interesting tech options, And after the game, when they told me that they were mold breaker and that worked, I was like, they were playing 5-dimensional chess and I was playing 2-dimensional checkers all along. So yeah, I mean, I'm not disappointed that my opponent won. I think they played better than me, especially in the end game, and they yeah, it was a good battle. It was a nice close battle. I think if I'd won based on like Diaclaw odds, I would have felt a bit disappointed. I would have been like, oh, really? Like, it's a bit anticlimactic to win that way. I mean, you take it. That's Pokemon, but you'd feel bad for the opponent. Anyway, I didn't. That's it. Now, let's watch the finals match to see who actually won the draft league that I entered. And then, as an encore, we'll see whether I got the bronze medal or whether I was relegated to 4th place, the most disappointing of all places. 2 competitors enter the arena. Only one will be crowned victorious. Here we are, folks. This is the final battle. This is the battle that will determine who wins the draft league. The only 2 candidate players are the Ursalunas and the Heatmores. The loser of this battle will still take the silver medal, but only one can get the gold. Now, I have lost personally to both of these competitors. I lost to the Ursalunas in week 6, and I lost to Heatmores in the semifinals. So, they are both at least able to defeat me. The question is, can they defeat each other? I haven't watched this battle, but I do know the result. Let's enjoy it together, shall we? Who do we think they're going to lead? So against me, the Ursalunas led Azumarill. In their semi-finals match, they led Petrarunt. Here, I feel like they'll lead... Does Latias look kind of... No, it loses to Tyranitar. Does Lucario looks okay. I'm going to put my money on Azumarill and Deoxys Speed as the leads. We'll see if I'm right. Houndstone and Azumarill. Okay, well, I wasn't predicting Houndstone, but there it is. And Azumarill. Now, I wonder if the Ursalunas are going to go for a belly drum like they did against me. Now, when I fought them, I was using Arcanine Hisui. You might think that this is quite a different lead matchup. I'm here to tell you it's almost identical. And that's because Houndstone and Arcanine Hisui are both dog-based Pokemon. They're both dog-adjacent, and so they're both probably going to miss their big move into Azumarill, and Azumarill's going to sweep. Houndstone is going to click Poltergeist, Azumarill's going to dodge it, and 6-0 the Heatmores. My predictions, let's see if they play out. No, they don't. I was wrong. Did click Poltergeist, but he hit a Cassib berry. Wow, that's a rare berry. You don't see the Ghost Resist very much, but it makes sense here. What is Cassib berry? Because a lot of the berries are like anagrams of real fruits. So like Pitcher is obviously peach, or well, some of them are like they've got a bit cut out. It's like Oran, orange. Leper is apple. Citrus is pretty self-explanatory. Cherry is pretty self-explanatory. I guess some of them are just like words for fruit. But when I found out that leper berry was an anagram of apple, I was like, crazy, right? Nanab for banana. It goes on. I don't know what Cassib is though. Basic, but spike, sky. I don't know what it means. Anyway, Tyranitar comes in. Tyranitar has a decent answer to Petrarunt. What in the world is withdraw? Withdraw. I mean, I knew that Petrarunt had like poor move slot viability. Like Petrarunt's move pool is very, very shallow. It's good. Like Parting Shot, Malignant Chain, Shadow Ball, and Recover are all you need. But you don't really have many other options than that. So I guess you can fit Withdraw. But that's wacky, man. Does it beat Tyranitar? Maybe? I mean, Dark. That's crazy. I don't know what's going on. Here comes Excadrill, it's immune to Brilliant Chain. Excadrill is a really nice answer to Petrarunt, but is it a really nice answer to withdraw Petrarunt? I think it is. Yeah, I don't know what withdraw Petrarunt is going to do to Excadrill. Probably switch out, is my guess. SD, it stays in, Shadow Balls, but it's not going well. And suddenly Excadrill looks real scary. We've got, presumably Sandrush, Excadrill with double attack against a withdraw Petrarunt, which is doing pitiful damage to Excadrill. Excadrill can hit Latias with Earthquake. Gligar is its main problem. Immune to ground, good defense with Eviolite. But it might be able to break through Gligar if it boosts enough. I think Petrarunt has to switch to Gligar though, right? Yeah. Excadrill's going to Earthquake, okay. Maybe the Excadrill should have Iron Headed there? as a read, and still done decent damage to Pitcherant and had the chance to flinch, but maybe you wanted more damage on Pitcherant. So, now the question is, can Gligar fight back? I feel like it can. I feel like Ironhead is going to like 3-hit KO, and Gligar will kill with Earthquake. So, oh, exactly 50%. U-turn into... Okay, Azumarill. That was a safe play by the Ursalunas. Just get Azumarill in. Aqua Jet is going to be no nonsense. No nonsense. My gut was click Earthquake, but that might not have killed. I don't have the calc. And if it didn't kill, you were in real trouble. That attack something. But this is fine. The priority will just clean up. It should kill Excadrill at this much health. Yeah, crisis averted on the Excadrill front. You have to clear Aqua Jet though. They have to switch, but if you do something crazy and don't Aqua Jet, you could lose the entire game. Here's Houndstone. Now, it takes a lot of damage from Aqua Jet, and I presume it's going to click Poltergeist again. The Ursalunas don't have a Ghost Resist, but I'm sure they've brought Terra Normal Lucario to be their Ghost Resist. We don't know if Azumarill has Choice Band. If it doesn't, it can just click Liquidation here. I don't think it will die to Houndstone. But if it does, they're going to have to switch to something. Or maybe you just sack it. I mean, you kind of want it so that Excadrill can't sweep again. We'll see. We'll see what they do. I don't know what the sets are, so... Switch to Jox's Speed. Okay. Switch to Pitcherant. Interesting. So kind of a Pitcherant sack, I think, if Poltergeist... No, you can't Poltergeist because it's eaten the Cassib Berry. So it's immune to Poltergeist. It doesn't have an item anymore. That's genius. That's genius. Because Houndstone doesn't get any other Ghost Stab. So once you've eaten the Cassib Berry, you haven't taken separate damage the first time. And now, Poltergeist doesn't work anymore. So, you actually beat Houndstone. So the Ursalunas are doing some crazy stuff. I mean, Pitcherant is like a... With Cassib Berry, it turns out Pitcherant is like a really solid Houndstone check. Type advantage be damned. But the Heatmores do a good switch to Jox's Speed as well. Maybe some hazards are finally going up. Serena comes in, this is a spinner, but it's just a Psycho Boost. Doesn't do much damage. That has to be Assault Vest, right? I reckon it's Assault Vest. But Assault Vest is really good on Serena because Serena doesn't have much going for it in the realm of special moves, and it has a lot of physical moves at once. I mean, it's got U-turn, knockoff, and rapid spin, which are all like premium attacking moves. And then it's got triple axle, which it really wants, high jump kick, which is great. It's got grass type stab, which it really wants. It's got more than enough good attacking moves to fill out a moveset. So Assault Vest is really good, and I suspect that's what we're looking at here, because that's not much damage from a 140? 140 still? That's not much damage from a stab 140 base power move going to Serena. And now Serena can click some big strong move. Triple axle? No, just U-turn. Maintain momentum. That's all good. And here is Lucario. Lucario finally gets in for free. Now, Whimsicott is like nice for Lucario in that it can't kill Lucario. Lucario can survive this turn and get off a Swords Dance, but it can do a bunch of weird things to cripple it. If Lucario does Swords Dance and Whimsicott stays in, Whimsicott can click Encore, except Extreme Speed is priority. Extreme Speed should go first even if Whimsicott's faster, because it has 2 bonus priority, and Prankster only has 1. So, I had to Google that though, I didn't know that. So, I wonder if these guys know that. Here's Houndstone. Just Flash Cannon, okay. No nonsense, I mean, we're not doing anything crazy, we're just clicking special moves and going. Sure, I guess I didn't need to Google the priority of Extreme Speed, but down goes Houndstone. Here's Excadrill. Back to Azumarill. Azumarill's reliable. It can take an Iron Head, but only 1. The Aqua Jet is kind of forced, but you gotta click it. Azumarill should switch out here into Serena. Whimsicott click U-turn into something. Serena can click U-turn or die. I guess Serena can die. And now we're back into Gligar. Both players have lost a Pokemon. It's still anyone's game, I think. No hazards are up. Pretty even. Gligar can take an Iron Head. It took 50% from +2 Excadrill. So it's going to take 25% from neutral. But it can't take 2 Iron Heads, and the flinch will just win Excadrill the fight. If it's got Earthquake, it can click it here. If it doesn't, you might have to click U-turn. Straight into Whimsicott. Spikes, okay. That's fair. I mean, if Excadrill kills Gligar, Azumarill just comes back in. So it makes sense to get some hazards up. The enemy team doesn't appreciate hazards, but presumably Excadrill's last move, alongside Swords Dance, Earthquake, and Iron Head, is Rapid Spin, so they can still get them back off. Whereas the Ursalunas have lost their spinner. Serena going down means that if the Heatmores can maneuver back in their Deoxys speed, and they do have a hazard, then they can get it up and make it stick. Stun Spore goes off. That's going to be annoying for Gligar, but not the end of the world. And we get the slow U-turn into Petulant. Now, I think you click Shadow Ball here because if you click Malignant Chain, Excadrill just comes in, and I think Excadrill just is happy to come in. It Earthquakes you, it wants to spin, force you out spin. So I think you click Shadow Ball. If you click Malignant Chain and they don't switch out, or they sack Whimsicott, you're happy, but I don't know, I feel like it gets punished harder. Whereas Shadow Ball's like, okay, I guess the worst case scenario is T-Tab, it's not that bad. I would click Shadow Ball. We'll see what they do. U-turn, that's expected. Into T-Tar, okay. Shadow Ball was worse than Malignant Chain, in fact. And Recover. Okay, nice. So they did have Recover as their last move. We didn't know whether they had Recover or Parting Shot, but they have Recover. And yeah, Malignant Chain, Shadow Ball, Recover, and Withdraw is the final moveset. Now, Tyranitar still hasn't attacked at all. Presumably it has a Dark-type move with which it can weaken Petulant. But I don't know what it's going to do. It could have any number of sets. Here we have the Withdrawer again, and we have Rocks. Okay, those Rocks are sticking now. No more spin for the Ursalunas. But the Spikes are really hurting the Heatmores. Here's the Shadow Ball, good middle ground play, and the Stun Spore miss is annoying. Whimsicott goes down. Can the opponent's team beat Withdraw Petulant, or is Withdraw Petulant crazy? This is weak to poison. This is not going to be enough. But the sand kills it. Okay. So there's Petulant down. Lucario is looking really strong now. It will lose to Excadrill until the sand runs out, and then it will beat it, assuming that they're both max speed. Lucario is ever so slightly faster. It will beat Tyranitar and Primarina with ease, and I guess it will lose to Deoxys speed, but that's okay. That's what the rest of the Pokemon are for. Lucario just takes a kill on Primarina. He was kind of had to sack it. We expect Excadrill to come in, and now the Ursalunas just have to stall out the sand. So we have the spin going off. That's good for the opponent, but the Spikes have kind of done their job. Just going to kill the Gligar. The flinch is somewhat impactful, but it's not so bad. And Excadrill now has kind of fake Sand Rush, but Azumarill looks scary. Aqua Jet is incredibly free. If they switch into T-Tar, it's going to take a massive chunk from Aqua Jet. It's also going to hurt Deoxys speed to no end. So maybe the best play is to sack Excadrill and then bring in DOS? But it's looking bad for the Heatmores here. Latias is still untouched, and if it's got Aura Sphere, really good in the endgame. Amazing in the endgame. Okay, you go into Tyranitar. That's fair. The sand will chip this, but yeah, Azumarill is just going to kill it. And now you have to go to... You have to sack something. You sack Excadrill. And now it's Deoxys Speed versus the World. Similar to my endgame against my opponent, but instead of having one Sneasler, they've got a Lucario and a Latias. If this is Superpower, then it'll probably kill the Lucario, but weaken itself. The Lucario could be Choice Scarf, but even if it's Choice Scarf, it's still slower than Deoxys Speed, as long as Deoxys Speed is max speed. We'll find out. Here's a Superpower. Lucario goes down, Deoxys weakens itself, and we have this endgame. And this looks somewhat familiar to my endgame against the Heatmores. We have just the Deoxys speed that is debuffed, but this time it's against a Latias, and I don't think there's a world in which Deoxys speed can be a Latias. Latias resists Psycho Boost, it resists Superpower, it can click Calm Mind, it's actually got super effective coverage if it's running Shadow Ball. I think the Ursalunas are going to take it. Let's find out. Knockoff is not going to be enough. They can play safe and just click recover here, or they can just go for the attack. Okay, hang on. Wow! A 1% health finish for the Ursalunas. What a game. So, Knockoff there. You might wonder why the opponent switched to Ice Beam. Knockoff wasn't going to hit an item, so it was going to do less damage, but it was still slightly stronger, ever so slightly stronger than Ice Beam. And if Knockoff had been clicked, it would have won the game. Now, Ice Beam was probably a roll to kill. The Latias survived it on literally exactly 1 HP. A single HP point, like 4 EVs, was all that stood between the Heatmores and victory. As close as you can possibly imagine in that endgame. But the Ursalunas take it. The Ursalunas are the champion of the Season 3 Professional Draft League Alola Division. Congratulations to the Ursalunas. What a final game. I mean, well played by everybody. I'm out here like making reads that are bad and worse than what either player did. So it's a good thing that they were there in the finals. And just a reminder, these are the 5th and 7th seeds of the tournament, and they're the 2 finalists, and it was a close game. So the trophy, the crown, $1 million, at least $1 million, probably many millions, all go to the Ursalunas. Heatmores get a silver medal. They can be happy about that. Did you know, interesting fact, silver medalists are less happy about their medal than bronze medalists. Because if you get silver, you think, I'm so close to gold. But if you get bronze, you think, I was so close to not getting anything. So, in some ways, you'd rather get bronze than silver. Or at least that's what I tell myself. Because all I have the chance to get is bronze. And I'm going to be fighting it out for the bronze medal. So, let's have a look at the updated scoreboard now that all of this is said and done. So, the Ursalunas defeat the Bulbasaurs, the Heatmores defeat the Rattatas, and then, in the grand finals, the Ursalunas take the crown. That's it. I mean, if this is what you were here for, this is what you wanted to know, that's it. The Ursalunas won the Draft League. However, we have one more battle to watch, and it is my own. It is my battle for the 3rd place medal. Can I get it, or will I go home empty-handed? Let's find out. Here we are. This is my final battle in this Draft League. After this, the Ethical Retardas, maybe they'll be back next year with a new lineup, but for now, this is it. If I want anything, if I want to walk away with a prize, even a bronze one, I have to win this battle. And you can see I've ditched Rillaboom this time because I didn't think Grass type was very good against Gouging Fire and Venusaur and Torkoal. And I've got Arcanine Hisui. I thought, well, they're going to boost its Fire type damage in the Sun. And also, they really struggle with hazards. I mean, Sun teams struggle against hazards, but like Stealth Rock is just so devastating for them. They have to run boots on like everything if they don't want to lose to it. It cripples Enamorus, cripples Gouging Fire. Torkoal can rapid spin, but it's kind of bad at rapid spinning. Like, it's slower than everything, and if it dies, it can't put the sun up. So I thought Stealth Rock just looks so good, I'm bringing Arcanine. Apart from that, my team is pretty standard. I do have Trick Room Hatterene again. It hasn't worked for me like all tournament, but maybe this is the time. So, I'm going with my Sneasel lead. It's really safe. I've been playing it pretty safe. Sneasel lead is safe. It's Scarf. I just want to be the fastest thing around. I'm expecting Torkoal, and if it's Torkoal, I can U-turn into Hatterene and bounce back the rocks. Here's Sneasler, here's Torkoal, all exactly as expected. I click U-turn and I think, okay, cool. Poison Touch triggers, which is really great. Torkoal being on a timer is wonderful. I think, okay, this is good. This is like the first game I've had in ages where the lead actually went my way. And then Lava Plume does half my health and burns me. And I thought, oh, that's a bit bad. But it's not the end of the world, right? It's fair. We knew it was a risk. They didn't get rocks up. Here, I could have stayed in and sacked Hatterene to force them to click Lava Plume again. But I thought, I don't know, they probably will want the kill. They probably won't click rocks. If they do, oh well. It's just hard to click rocks when you're staring down a Hatterene. Unless you're my... Oh, I've got to change the graphics again. One moment. There we go. It's just really hard to click rocks in front of a Hatterene unless you're the Heatmores in my semifinals match, and then apparently it's easy as pie. But Torkoal actually doesn't have Mold Breaker. So, I'm going to switch to Arcanine. It's going to take nothing from Lava Plume. and threaten out Torkoal with Head Smash. And yeah, they click Lava Plume. All good. They're not making any crazy plays. They're playing it safe. You know, those are good things, but I am glad that I'm able to predict them so far. And now I'm thinking, okay, Torkoal really doesn't want to stay in. If it stays into a Head Smash and dies, that is horrendous. I was considering doubling back into Hatterene on the predicted Stealth Rock, but I thought, nah, I reckon they're going to switch out. And Rocks is just so crippling against them. Like, this Torkoal is going to take damage from Rocks and Poison when it comes back in. Rocks just looked so amazing. And I didn't think you'd expect... I thought maybe they wouldn't expect me to have them, because Arcanine often runs a choice band. Rocks are hardly ever used on ladder, but they're really good in this format. So I click Rocks, and they click Earth Power and kill me. And at first I thought, oh, that kind of sucks, right? I could have got the kill with Arcanine and lived to see another day. And then I thought, I don't know, sacrificing Arcanine for Rocks might actually be worth it, because the Rocks are so strong. I'm going to bring in Ursaluna. This is what I do, right? I bring in Ursaluna, and my opponent has to deal with it. And they can't really. They don't have a normal resist, so I can just click Blood Moon easily. Here comes Hariyama. It's probably got Assault Vest. It's going to take it, and it takes it, but not great. I can't click it again, but yeah, it doesn't look good for Hariyama. We're very close in speed, so they might have speed creeped me, but I just thought, this looks rough for them. Losing so much health is pretty bad. I'm going to go to Mandibuzz on the close combat, because I think they might outspeed me and take nothing. I was more worried about Drain Punch. I actually don't know if Hariyama even gets Drain Punch, but I was in my brain, I was like, oh, if they Drain Punch and heal back the damage, that'll be bad. But Mandibuzz is my physical wall, so we're all good. Their defense goes down. I can foul play if I want, or I can Toxic. They've got a Venusaur as a poison type, but it's not the best. Yeah, all in all, it's just a pretty chill game. It's much less stressful, and watching those Rocks hit Enamorus was great. Now, foul play did a decent amount, but I'm going to die with the Fairy move, so I'm going to go to my special wall, Lantern. Hooray, right? And they Agility, and I thought, for a moment, I was like, is that bad? I thought, no, it's not bad, because they can't actually kill my Tera Lantern, because I'm Tera Flying. Tera Flying is great, because I'm immune to ground, so Garchomp can't really hurt me. I resist grass, so I flip the Venusaur matchup from a loss to a win. I don't really become weak to anything. They don't have a rock type or an ice type. And I am immune to Earth Power from Enamorus. So I'm going to Tera Flying and click Ice Beam. Hopefully they just stay in and try to kill me with Earth Power, and I can dodge it. Nice. I mean, clean, right? All is going well. I'm actually happy that Arcanine died. Here's Torkoal, but it's taking way too much from Spikes and Poison. I can just discharge and kill it. And now I'm up 5-4. And now Gouging Fires come in, and this thing is scary. I'm in my brain, I'm thinking, okay, all I have to do now is wait for the sun to run out, and then I win. I don't think I even have a water move on this Lantern. I think it's Ice Beam, Discharge, Volt Switch, and Dazzling Gleam, Assault Vest, because of the sun. But when the sun runs out, that's great. I mean, Lantern looks good. It beats Garchomp, beats Venusaur. This Gouging Fire is the last thing standing in my way. However, Gouging Fire is terrifying. It can Dragon Dance, it's impossible to kill. If anything is going to be able to turn the game around on me, it's Gouging Fire. Thankfully, I've got Nuzzle Hatterene, which I'm willing to sack. So I think, okay, if they Dragon Dance, I'll go to Nuzzle Hatterene, and then I'll Nuzzle them. And if they just attack me, if they Choice Band, then that's okay, I'll sack Hatterene. So I'm going to switch to Hatterene. They get the speed boost from Photosynthesis, and they Dragon Dance. Uh-oh. That's intimidating. I think, okay. So I'm willing to let Hatterene die. That would be fine. But how am I going to actually beat this? Well, if they kill me, I'm then going to go into Ursaluna and click Blood Moon, or Earth Power, I guess, and that'll kill. So that's okay. If they Dragon Dance again, I'm going to Nuzzle them so that I can at least play for power odds. So they Dragon Dance again, and I Trick Room. I remembered at the last minute, no, I can just Trick Room, right? And now my Ursaluna will outspeed. Now all I need to do is get them to kill my Hatterene, and then I get a free switch into Ursaluna, and I'm faster, and I win. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just force them to kill Hatterene. I'll stay in, hit them with Dazzling Gleam. It'll do enough. They'll have to kill me if they don't want to just die to Dazzling Gleam. And then I will switch to Ursaluna after they kill me. So I click Gleam. They de-dance again. They're looking very scary. And my Gleam does 41%, and I'm like, oh no, they're really bulky. That's not going to be enough. And then they Morning Sun back to full health. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, they've got full health. Really, really buffed up Gouging Fire. Now I can nuzzle and at least paralyze it. And I look and I see that they've Dragon Danced again, and they didn't get paralyzed. And my life flashed before my eyes. I thought, oh, that Covert Cloak. They've got Covert Cloak Gouging Fire, and the nuzzle didn't work. I can see why. It's also good against Dire Claw. I can't do anything to them with Dire Claw because of Covert Cloak. And I'm thinking, okay, if my Trick Room runs out, I lose the game. I just lose the game on the spot if my Trick Room runs out. So I have to switch before Trick Room runs out, or they have to kill me. If they click a damaging move and my Hatterene dies, I get to go into Ursaluna and force out the Gouging Fire. If I switch and they Dragon Dance, I'm in my Ursaluna for free, and I force out the Gouging Fire. But if I switch and they click a damaging move, my Ursaluna dies and I lose the game. So it has to be this turn that I just switch, because I need the next turn to be in Trick Room. So it's kind of like a 50-50, right? They have to either attack or Dragon Dance. I have to either switch or not switch, and whichever one of us gets it right is going to be in a dominating position. I decide to switch. I think, well, I'm going to look like a fool if I just stay in Hatterene until the Trick Room runs out and then lose. I'm going to switch. If they click a damaging move now, I lose. And then I'll think, oh, I should have stayed in and sacked Hatterene, and then I would win. But they've just been Dragon Dancing. They seem to be trying to stall out my Trick Room. I'll make the play. I switch. They Dragon Dance again, and I think, thank goodness. And now they're forced out, because I would one-shot them with Earth Power. And now I basically win, right? I've won. That was the turn. I can play around them. I've got Lantern to deal with Venusaur really nicely. Solar Beam is going to do next to nothing, and I'm immune to Ground type. They can try to make something happen with Gouging Fire again, but now they don't have the sun up. It's just looking really hard for them. This, I'll let Lantern go down, that's fine. Now I can bring in Sneasler, and they're kind of out of options. I can bring Ursaluna back in, or Mandibuzz, as I do, and I've just won. I mean, I've got Toxic, I've got Foul Play. This Gouging Fire isn't going to be able to reach the strength that it was at before. A +3 Gouging Fire could one-shot Mandibuzz from that health, but not a +1. Down we both go, and it's Garchomp versus the world, and the world is going to win, because the world can click one final Blood Moon. My last Blood Moon of the tournament. And I win the bronze. Oh, I win the bronze. Third place. Third place. It's not so bad. It's pretty good. My first draft league. Third place. Bronze medal. I wonder if I can put like some confetti and stuff up here. Like, yay, there's confetti. Wow. Probably, but I can't see it. But yeah. Woo. Maybe. Or not, depending on my editing prowess. We'll see. So yeah, that's it. That was my last Blood Moon. Thank you guys for following all of this. And congratulations to Gerg and to the Ursalunas for winning. Now, there's a sense in which, although my Ursaluna Blood Moon didn't win, because Ursaluna Normal, the captain, won the whole thing, I feel like I've won a spiritual victory, and I think Ursaluna has just risen in my respect immensely. What a good Pokemon. What an icon. I guess it kind of came down to that Gouging Fire 50-50. That's the game. Sometimes it's just a straight roll of the dice. This video is going to have gone on for so long. Come with me to the final medal ceremony. Here we are at the end. I just want to say thank you to all 16 of these players. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a great game. I've had a lot of fun. You guys are fantastic. And Pokemon can be rough. You know, sometimes you just lose because of randomness, or you lose because of crazy things. And I am sure that any of you, all of you, have the power to win your next draft league. For now, we have some winners to celebrate, the lesser of which is me. The Rahatas come third overall. I'm really happy. I'm happy with third. I don't mind at all it only being bronze medal. To get a placement first time I play is wonderful. And there we go. We get to do our little walk of wonder and take our spot on the podium. Coming second, in second place, is of course the Heat Wars. Played really, really well. Defeated me decisively. Made good reads, good predictions. Just well played to them. And then the champion, the Ursalunas. Amazing comeback story. I mean, 5th seed going into the finals, but played really, really well every game. Had some incredible prep strategies. The withdraw plus Kasiberi patch run blew my mind. I don't know, I feel like the Ursalunas keep blowing my mind with all their crazy. And yeah, they take the gold trophy. Congratulations to them. Yay! Or something. And that's it. So I'm done. Now, there is another tournament that's currently ongoing, which is a follow-on from this one. In this draft league, there are actually 8 draft leagues all running at the same time. And the top 4 players from each of those draft leagues will go on to a mega tournament with 32 players. And the winner of that will be the winner of all 8 draft leagues. They'll be like the grand champion. So, myself, the Ursalunas, the Heatmores, and the Bulbasaurs will be competing in that. And when that's over, I'll make a video like this about that whole big tournament. But it's still ongoing. And yeah, hopefully one of us can win. The Ursalunas have our best shot. They're the number 1 seed. But any of us could do it. The moral of this whole tournament has been don't count out the lower seeds. So I'll be back with a video then. In the meanwhile, I will just be posting random Pokemon videos. I'm really busy. I've taken a day off because my legs were so sore I couldn't walk. I've been like hobbling around like a penguin. So I'm not going into work today, which has given me time to record this. But yeah, no, I've been really hard out counting wasps. I've got photos of over 500 wasps. I'm gonna start streaming, I think. You don't have to watch, because what I'm going to be streaming is a wasp lock, which is my patented creation, wherein I play a Nuzlocke to ID wasps. Now the idea is, you have to name, it's like a Nuzlocke, but you have to name the Pokemon after a wasp that you've ID'd, and you've got to keep IDing wasps in order to progress. And if Pokemon die, you're going to have to like name more wasps to get new ones. It's kind of a way for me to tie my need to learn how to ID wasps really efficiently to the life and death stakes of a Nuzlocke. I'm doing it for me. I don't know if it'll be good viewing. It might be like unbearable viewing, because I'm going to spend half the time looking at PowerPoint slides of wasps, and the other half of the time like grinding in Pokemon Inclement Emerald. But if you want to come hang out and watch that, you're more than welcome to. I don't know when I'll stream it, but you know, I'm just kind of embracing this lifestyle of like making stuff for YouTube. It's quite fun. I'm enjoying it. You know, I like the whole thing. You just have to try not to become too like corrupted by it. You know, you don't want to take on like the streamer brain, you know, and start like prioritizing making like crazy clickbait videos, and which I was doing. To be fair, I've been guilty of trying out the clickbait videos. It's a bit annoying to me. I will never watch like a 20-part series on YouTube. Like it's just not something that anyone wants to watch these days. Which makes Draft League content a bit hard to brand, because this has been like a 9-part video series. But no one wants to watch a 9-part video series, or at least they don't want to click on a video that's a 9-part series. And so you want to give them exciting titles, but like the exciting titles are kind of vague, or they don't really explain what's going on. It's quite hard to explain what these videos are in a YouTube title. I haven't really figured it out. Yeah, I don't know. There's a tension between like being corrupted into a strange internet streamer and, you know, making videos that no one ever sees. But for the streaming stuff, I'm not really doing it for the audience. I'm just doing it as a way to like ramp up the pressure on myself as much as I possibly can, so that I have to get good at IDing wasps. Because it's not just that I have to like ID wasps for my masters, it's that if I don't ID the wasps correctly, I'm going to publicly fail. I'm going to fail on camera for the world to see. So there's maximal pressure, you know, like everything is riding on me getting that Diapriad's name right. And hopefully that, I don't know, I'm one of these people who like craves pressure. My favorite thing in the world is an exam. I love exams. This is the problem with doing a master's. Like, I'm done with the undergrad part of uni, so I don't get to do exams anymore. It's really sad. Like, I love exams. And everyone will try to say to me, like, oh, do you want me to just, like, give you an exam? And I'm like, no. the thing that makes an exam special is that there's so much riding on that moment. Like, all your work for months and months is being condensed down into 3 hours of like pure brain. I love it. It's like the most pressure. It's great. I don't have that anymore. I think that's probably why I've started YouTube, because I need something that like I can fail at really badly. I don't know. It's just a weird part of my psychology. Anyway, I'll be doing that if you want to watch, but you don't have to, but you can. I'll do my video for the tournament, and then sooner or later I'll be back with another draft league. Yeah, as I said earlier in the video, let me know if you know how to do, like, what the best way to figure out what my team name is going to be. I don't know what team I'm going to use. I'll see what the draft looks like. I'll probably follow my whims a bit, but I've learned a lot since I made the ethical retarders. I mean, and I've come a long way. Like, my PowerPoint slides have become so beautiful. I might change my background color, but maybe I won't, because this green is my dedicated favorite color of the year. Last year, my favorite color was pale yellow. Year before that, it was maroon. This year, it's this nice pale green. This is my favorite color, but I could change it. It used to be yellow, and that was quite nice, and I've had it blue before. But I like the green, but maybe I won't like the green when the next draft starts. But that'll probably not be till February or March. And they'll have to let me in. But I think my resume is pretty good. You know, like, before I started this, I was like, oh, will anyone let me into a draft league? I don't have any proof that I'm, like, reliable. I think they'll probably let me in next season on account of my like history. Like, I think making 20 hours of YouTube videos, surely, right? If you're watching this, mods over at the draft league, I don't know who it is, Quaxley. If you're watching this, you gotta let me in, man. You gotta let me in for season 4. Like, you gotta open those gates. I don't know. I don't have like a piglet or anything to sacrifice to you, but if you want like a bug, if you want me to sacrifice a bug in your name, I'll do it. I've got bugs. Well, there's lots of bugs in the garden that are more annoying than good. Anyway, this has been my... look, I've been doing these short form informative videos where you don't really want to be rambling, so I haven't got to do a long ramble in ages. So this is my long ramble. I'm really going to enjoy it, because it's probably my last one for a while. Because things are only going to get busier. But for now, this is it. I'm leaving you. Goodbye. Congratulations again to the Ursalunas, and see you later, everybody.